taking opponents' best shot and coming out on top in every game to clinch the outright Missouri Valley Conference Championship and remain undefeated. But today still has a lot of meaning as 24 seniors look to finish off a perfect run through the conference as Southern Illinois makes its way to Fargo, hoping to spoil Senior Day. The Salukis and Bison kick off next.
Get your horns out! Yeah, you can hear the herd coming, baby, like it or not. We've been waiting while tailgating in the parking lot. Now that clock is ticking down, the boys are ready to go. The energy in here's electric. Let's get on with the show. Get your horns up. The green and gold are back in town. Get your horns up. Pumped up and ready to throw down. Toss that coin up in the air. Bring the boys up to the line. Hold your horns up high because it's Bison time.
Hello and welcome to the Fargo Dome. It's Senior Day for North Dakota State, the #1 team in the country, as they get set to finish off a perfect run through the regular season here against Southern Illinois in Fargo today. Brian Shawn and Lee Timmerman joining you. Thanks for joining us all across the KVLY, KFYR, Bison Television Network in our regular season finale. And LT, for North Dakota State, 24 seniors, the largest ever class that the Bison have had. And it's a special group for Chris Kleiman because it's the first class that he took in as head coach here.
Yeah, and most of Chris's assistants in that same type of position. They really feel that this in many respects is their team. And this is a team that has an opportunity to do something that just doesn't happen much, and that's go through this Valley Conference undefeated. Last time it happened was 2013, and we all know how good that group of seniors were.
Meanwhile, Southern Illinois has had a disappointing season, to say the least. Just 2-8 coming in. It's a defense that has struggled. Nick Hill in his third year, I think, had some higher expectations for this group, but it's just not panned out for the Salukis.
Yeah, when the season started, the Salukis thought they were a borderline playoff team, but because of a number of injuries, that defensive unit just has not come together at all. And just to give you a little bit of indication of how much the Salukis have struggled on defense, the offense is scoring almost 32 points a game, and they've only won twice. They've given up a ton of points and a ton of yards.
And North Dakota State over the years has had the luxury of playing here at home in front of sold-out crowds of over 18,000 people. The emotions of this day are always special. But for this large a class and for guys that have played so many games here, you think about Robbie Grimsley as a starter. Easton Stick is now in his 48th career start. It's the amount of games that these guys have been on the field, I think, that makes this group unique.
And the one thing that'll make this Senior Day a little bit extra special is the Bison going out and doing their job, and we'll see them do it today.
There's a look at Easton Stick, becoming the second all-time winningest quarterback at the FCS level with a victory last week at Missouri State. Now 44-3 as a starter here at North Dakota State. #1, well, another Bison quarterback. Brock Jensen has 48 career victories here at North Dakota State as well. Series between these two programs dates back to 1963. It's the 11th meeting. The Bison have won 6 straight. But we have not seen the Salukis since 2015. The Bison winning that game 35-29 in Easton Stick's second career start. So that just tells you how long it's been since SIU and the Bison have played.
Yeah, that was a fun game, too. Stick, as you mentioned, his second career start. He didn't pass much that game. He had 130 yards on the ground. King Frazier had 177. If I remember right, Nick DeLuca had 20 tackles in that particular game. So, yeah, it's been a while since the Bison have had a chance to face the Salukis.
Cam Peterson getting set to kick it away. The Bison did win the toss, and they deferred, so SIU will be on offense first. Getting the game clock reset. There's 1:50 showing on the game clock right now, and now it is set to 15. Back deep for the Salukis. You see Matt Quarles, a senior wide receiver out of St. Louis, Missouri. Another Peterson Farm C kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm C. It is Jaquan Burton from his own goal line. Burton explosion, and he's still on his feet. Grimsley giving chase. Jaquan Burton, the true freshman, is inside the 10 and will take it back 100 yards for an SIU touchdown.
Well, you can't come into the Fargo Dome and start a game any better than this. Burton, as Brian mentioned, a true freshman. He's on the 2 deep at that cornerback. He's also a wide receiver, will play that position today. Got through that first wave and then showed some pretty good speed. Bison unable to track him down, and they're already behind 6 points.
Burton, one of 5 players from Jones High School in Orlando on this SIU squad. What a start for the 2-8 Southern Illinois Salukis. Extra point, booted through, off the field, a foot of Griffin Sarah, and just 15 seconds in, Nick Hill's bunch. A pretty good jolt to start.
Interesting.
Tyler Roll trying to get his special teams kickoff unit ready.
And there's a good look at Nick Hill. Nick, played quarterback at Southern, and he grew up just north of Carbondale, and he played a lot of professional indoor football, so his coaching career didn't start till a little bit late. He had a professional job, and he did that for a while. Then he was coaching at a high school, and then Coach Lennon, I believe, brought him in as a quarterback coach and as assistant coach for only 2 years, and now he's been the head coach for 3.
And going back, we talk about Nick Hill's playing days. He played for Jerry Kill, the head coach, and in 2007 led the Salukis to the FCS semifinals, who he lost to what quarterback? Pretty well-known guy.
7.
Joe Flacco.
Oh, Flacco.
And the Delaware Blue Hens.
The Hens. And Coach Kill, by the way, is now the athletic director for the Salukis.
So another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. A couple of them here right away to start. This one, line drive down to Bruce Anderson at the goal line, and Anderson slowed up and then taken down at about the 21-yard line. A few different Salukis getting in there to make that tackle, and Quarles leading the charge for the Salukis. Let's take a look at the North Dakota State starting offensive unit, brought to you by Shields.
Easton Stick, Omaha, Nebraska.
Dylan Radens, Becker, Minnesota.
Colin Connor, Mineral Point, Wisconsin.
Tanner Volson, Belfour, North Dakota.
Luke Bacon, Granville, North Dakota.
Zach Johnson, Blaine, Minnesota.
Ben Ellefson, Hawley, Minnesota.
Brock Robbins, Cavalier, North Dakota.
Lance Dunn, Waterloo, Iowa.
Dallas Freeman, St. Michael, Minnesota.
Darius Shepard, Blue Springs, Missouri.
Sticks first snap out of the shotgun, going to air it out deep. Shepard is out there, and he makes the catch. Pretty good coverage on the play from Madre Harper, the junior out of Arlington, Texas. But Darius Shepard, having a fantastic senior season, is inside the 50-yard line and down to the 47 of SIU.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. It's actually a pretty easy read for Stick. It was man-to-man in the slot with a single high safety, so the safety has to go a long way to have help over the top. So Shepard had plenty of opportunity and plenty of time to get that route run deep enough for Stick to hit him over the top.
Bootleg, Stick dropping it off. Brock Robbins has his 5th reception of the season. He gains a couple of yards up to down to the 44-yard line. Let's take a look at that SIU defense. Starting lineup brought to you by Shields. And the makeshift secondary, they are really hurt. 5 starters are down right now in that SIU secondary. You see Joe Patterson, he is a walk-on. He was a wide receiver last year. Quay Brown, Terrence Henley is a transfer from Miami. Madre Harper's not played a ton of football here. Bryce Notree is the leading tackler in the middle for SIU. Stick swinging it out, a little bit behind Anderson. Got a great block from Desmond Kane. And Anderson scampers for a first down to the 36.
Well, given what other teams have done versus this SIU defense, and for the reasons that you just mentioned, Brian, it is not unusual at all to see NDSU trying to get the ball outside against these defensive backs. And we should mention a name too, Jeremy Chin. He is one of the better DBs in the conference. He was one of the starting safeties, and they actually moved him to corner because they needed so much help at corner, and then Chin got hurt. So yeah, they're rolling through DBs.
Back to the running game, and there's Ty Brooks bouncing it outside. Brooks into the clear. Ty Brooks, touchdown.
In our weekly conversation with offensive coordinator Courtney Messingham, he told us he wanted to see this offense run downhill between the tackles and see if SIU can hold up. Salukis did not hold up on the first play run inside, up to get more of a power look, traditional power look, and once Ty is able to break it off, he has the speed to take it.
Peterson booms through an extra point. Peterson becoming the all-time leader in extra points in the Missouri Valley last week in the 48-7 win over Missouri State. We're tied at 7. Just a couple of minutes gone as Ty Brooks answers the opening touchdown return by the Salukis. We're off and running here in Fargo. Show your Bison pride today with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecity.bank/mycard. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC. 7-7 on the A Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard as Cam Peterson booms another one away as Quarles retreats to his own goal line. Another lane in the middle for Quarles. Flag comes in as he is finally stopped at about the 25-yard line. James Kaiser got in there along with Adam Cofield to make the tackle for North Dakota State.
I wouldn't say that's a big shocker to kick away from the guy who just ran it back 100 yards the first time.
That North Dakota State starting defense, let's take a look. Brought to you by Shields.
Number 52 of the return team. 10-yard penalty beat from the spot of the foul. Southern Illinois keeps the football. First down.
There's a look at Matt DeSomer. Just took over the starting quarterback responsibilities of 4 games ago. He's a senior. He's played safety. He's played wide receiver. He's played quarterback. And here is defensive back. He's done it all.
DB, yeah. Special teamer for a while as well. And when Matt came into the starting lineup for the Salukis, became much more of a quarterback run team. So he's much better as a runner.
Raphael Leonard getting the carry, and Robbie Grimsley is able to push him out of bounds after a gain of about 4 yards. Leonard, very talented young receiver. Let's take a look at that starting North Dakota State defense brought to you by Shields.
Caleb Butler, Blaine, Minnesota.
Blake Williams, Romeo, Michigan.
Aaron Steidel, Carlos, Minnesota.
Greg Menard, Lakeville, Minnesota.
Levi Jordan, Dickinson, North Dakota.
Dan Marlette, Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Jabril Cox, Kansas City, Missouri.
Jalen Allison, Papillion, Nebraska.
Rob Grimsley, Hutchinson, Minnesota.
James Hendricks, Bemidji, Minnesota.
Marquise Bridges, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And sniffing out that quarterback run was Derek Tuska. The junior playing really well here the last couple of weeks for North Dakota State. Had a really strong performance against Youngstown State here at the Dome 2 weeks ago.
On your Novak Insurance Company replay, not much of an opportunity for DeSomer to even make a read. And actually, it looked like to me that Levi Jortheim had the handoff covered up real well too. So the Bison really did a good job on that RPO.
3rd and 8 here for the Salukis. Bison bringing pressure to Somer, dropping it off behind his intended targets. That was Sam Bonansinga. And that'll bring up a punting situation, a 3 and out for SIU.
That second down play sets up the 3rd and long, which is where Coach Hill's offense does not want to be in that position, forced to have to throw the ball. The offensive line against a good pass rush this year has not stood up very well.
Punted away by Lane Reason. And there's some room for Shepard. One of the top returnmen in all of college football in punt returns. rated among the top 5 in the nation on yards per return. Bison set up on a short field when we come back. Back here at the Fargo Dome, 7-7 on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. North Dakota State with its second possession starting at the 50. Stick out of the shotgun again. No pressure. He's going to step into it. Christian Watson is all alone. Did he make the catch? Yes! Juggled it and hung on to it at the 2-yard line.
After I think it was Harper slides and down, it becomes almost maybe too easy for Watson. There's Harper. He gets caught up in the feet, and yes, he's able to make the catch, corral it in, and drop down at about the 2. He made it tough on himself, but then he made an impressive catch after the initial tip. Nice job.
Watson 48 yards on that reception. Anderson up the middle to the goal line, and he is a little bit short. Leading the charge that time for SIU was Whitney Simon, the only senior in the 2 deep defensively for SIU as we take a look at Easton Stick. An impressive season for this young man, brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission, funded by beef farmers and ranchers. Only 3 interceptions, 19 touchdowns. He's run for a bunch of touchdowns as well, 10 of them, 34 in his career. Make it 35 as he sneaks it in from a yard out, and North Dakota State has the lead.
Just 3 plays and 50 yards. Of course, the big pass play. And whenever you're going to give Stick that much time to look and survey down the field, and as much as the secondary for the Salukis has struggled, I mean, the Bison are going to have big plays down the field as much as they want. Nodak Insurance Company replay. You see Stick getting it across for that touchdown run.
Peterson boots through another extra point. He's got a couple of them here early in the first 5 minutes as the Bison have grabbed a 14-7 lead.
Well, the theme of the day is seniors, and how many seniors. You mentioned 1 on the 2 deep for SIU. I mean, the Bison offense on the 2 deep has 11 seniors. On the 2 deep defense for NDSU, 10 of the seniors. It's unheard of.
Take a look at your Bobcat scoring recap for North Dakota State. Doesn't take long. Just 109 off the clock. 3 plays, 50 yards, 48 of them on that completion from Stick to Christian Watson, the redshirt freshman out of Tampa, Florida.
I'm going to throw a few other numbers out early on before I forget about it, just to try to explain and show you how much experience this Bison team has. Of the starters that are listed on the 2 deep, they have played a combined 809 college football games. On the 2 deep, a combined 1,470 games. That is an off-the-charts crazy number on the number of games that the kids on the 2 deeps have played. Talk about experience. Wow.
Peterson on for another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planting season with Peterson Farm Seeds. Waving his arm for the fair catch is Corals. And SIU will start at its own 25-yard line. Let's take a look at that Southern Illinois starting offensive unit brought to you by Shields. We talked about DeSomer, but I will say this, the 2 wide receivers in particular, Raphael Leonard, Landon Lenore, maybe 2 of the best. When you look at tandems and receiving cores, SIU may have the best in the Valley. Very, very strong group. Lenore, 46 receptions. Leonard with 55 coming in.
Unique situation with Logan Krause, the starting tight end. He's 22 years old and a freshman.
DJ Davis, his first carry, 5th all-time in rushing at SIU, and he's the first 1,000-yard rusher in a season since Jewel Hampton did it back in 2011 for Southern Illinois. Robbie Grimsley coming in to make the tackle after a gain of 8. And there's a look at Matt DeSomer, brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission, funded by beef farmers and ranchers. Has not played a ton, did rally Southern Illinois back for a win at Missouri State, 49-35. That's the only Valley win the Salukis have so far here in 2018. Davis wrangled and brought down by the helmet for no gain.
That's Caleb Butler, 95 on the tackle, and Davis has been impressive. He's not a big kid. He's 5'8". They list him at 168 pounds. And the thing that to me is the most impressive about him is when you watch him on tape, he does not look like he has worn down this year. McCaster from Youngstown a few weeks ago, it did look like he's gotten tired. Not with Davis.
3rd and 2. Bubbled outside, and there's a look at Burton again. The freshman finally taken down at the 40-yard line. Josh Hayes, Dan Marlette getting in to make that tackle, but it's enough for an SIU first down.
Yeah, Jalen Graham was number 45, senior fullback. He's a kid that really got a key block. I think he was able to hook Levi Jordheim and get Jordheim off of the route.
And Burton was trying to walk back to the huddle, and now he goes down to the turf at about the 37. And just to show you where SIU is right now with defensive backs, Burton is an emergency corner, and he's essentially the only corner they have left on the depth chart right now.
Yeah, he is listed on the 2 deep. Just as long as we have a second here, we'll go back to my point about the tight end, Logan Krause, being a 22-year-old freshman. Well, he played 3 years of professional baseball, so that's why he's in that situation.
We'll step aside. 14-7 North Dakota State. It'll be 1st and 10 Salukis from the 41 when we return to the Dome. Buying, building, or refinancing. Start with a Gate City Bank Blue Standard pre-approval and experience a better home loan. Get started today at gatecity.bank for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. 1st and 10, Southern Illinois from the 41, and Leonard is open across the middle. There goes Raphael Leonard, 59 yards, touchdown SIU.
That was a nice play. I liked the way it was designed. Really strong to the field, to the wide side. Both running backs also left to the quarterback. 2 guys to the wide side. Nodak Insurance Company replay. You have man on the outside. Leonard with a real strong inside move. He gets his leverage against Bridges right away. There's no safety to help. It's one-on-one on the outside with Raphael Leonard, the senior wideout, who's one of the best, and he just proved it.
Sarah adds the extra point. Boy, we're tied at 14. Not even 7 minutes gone in this game. You talked about Leonard coming over from East Mississippi Community College, where he was a part of Last Chance U, season 2 of that on Netflix.
Yep. Yeah. But Coach Klanderman, the defensive backs coach, could not speak more highly of the man you're looking right there, Raphael Leonard. He says that he is one of the top 2 wide receivers, he thought, in the Valley.
56 receptions on the season, his 7th touchdown, as well as Marquise Bridges got beat. Chris Kleiman certainly hoping his defense can pick things up a little bit.
I know we're only halfway through the first quarter, but what we've seen out of the team out there in white is kind of the way their year has gone. Their offense has scored. Their defense has gotten blitzed. I mean, not blitzing the other quarterback, I mean torched. And that's so far, that's kind of what we've seen here in the first 7.5 minutes.
31.4 points per game, 31st in the FCS. Interestingly enough, SIU is 19th in the country in rushing, 227 yards a game. Booted away by Nico Gualdoni. Coming down to the 1-yard line. And Anderson runs into the pile, and he is held and finally taken down with a scrum at about the 25.
Of course, Bruce Anderson, one of many of the Bison seniors playing today. I mean, we first really got our introduction to Bruce doing that as a kick returner in 2015 when he had a couple of long touchdown runs, or kickoff returns.
We talked about Darius Shepard and what he has meant in the punt return game. We talk about what this guy's been able to do. 19 yards per return on average. but the Bison have not been able to really bust a kickoff return yet this season. NDSU offense right back to work from the 25. Anderson is the tailback. He gets the carry. He's taken down by Jordan Berner, 6'6", 264-pounder out of Chester, Illinois. Take a look at the Bobcat scoring recap. And Southern Illinois striking quickly as well, just 4 plays and 143. 59 of those 75 yards on that pass play to Leonard. Delta formation for NDSU. Robbins, Ty Brooks, and Bruce Anderson. And it's Anderson trying to find some room up the middle. Bryce Gotry coming in to make the tackle. 3rd and 4 coming up. Let's go down to Ryan Geller, the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, on the sidelines.
Hey guys, it is a First International Bank and Trust sideline report. Many of the Bison coaches today are wearing these Operation Hat Trick hats to raise awareness and support for the recovery of service members and veterans injured during combat. These hats are available at the North Dakota State Bookstore. They're available at other retail outlets throughout the FM area. Many of the Bison coaches supporting Operation Hat Trick. A portion of the proceeds, guys, goes back and supports those that were injured in trauma or war. A pretty cool thing that North Dakota State coaches are doing today.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan, and that is great that the Bison are honoring those service members and that organization trying to help. Easton Stick, the pass play to Dallas Freeman for a 1st down. Andre Harper in coverage for SIU.
Yeah, Harper almost forced to play a soft corner, which he did, and a relatively easy pitch and catch to get that 1st down with Freeman running the nice 12-yard out.
Stick going downfield, wide open man is Nate Jensen, the senior tight end, has his 2nd touchdown in 2 weeks. But a flag back at the 31.
Judging by the first reaction of the white hat, I don't know if this one's standing. I think it's coming back.
Matt Gallagher is your referee for today's contest.
What I think, I can guess what I think. I think it's a hold on the outside, and I think it might have been on Darius Shepard. Oh no, I'm wrong. That's good. Touchdown.
Touchdown will stand. And targeting right now is the initial indication as a look at our officiating crew.
Targeting defense number 25.
Uh-oh, that's
that
Harper.
Play is under review.
And again, if Harper is gone,
there's no more corners.
There's no more corners left for the Salukis. So that would mean Jaquan Burton would be forced into action, who's a returner and a wide receiver. There's a look at Harper, 4th on the team in tackles.
And he was the one coming up. It was on stick. So you mean in today's world where you really watch what happens to the quarterbacks.
He's
That's where the hit happened.
He's a transfer from Oklahoma State, played 2 seasons and 7 games for the Cowboys. And Harper will run off the field as they will review it upstairs.
I don't know if you could read Coach Hill's lips, but I believe he said that's stupid to Harper, and he will go. He knows what happened. I know they're going to confirm it, as they always do through video replay, but yeah, he did it.
Harper's already back in the tunnel, heading to the locker room. Well, after the extra point, we would have 35 points. And this game is
not 10 minutes old yet.
Not that old yet.
After review, the ruling of the field of targeting stands is called. Number 25 has been disqualified. 15-yard penalty and beyond the succeeding kickoff. Ruling on the field is a touchdown. We'll try for point.
So Craig Paulson, the defensive coordinator for SIU, is going to have his hands full here trying to piece together a secondary for the next 3.5 quarters.
Craig, by the way, grew up in our statewide coverage area, Plentywood, Montana. John Cole says hi, by the way, Craig, if you're going to watch the replay of this.
With Peterson already on for his 3rd extra point today.
Craig's brother used to work at our station, too.
Peterson boosts through the extra point. He has 363 now career points, which is 11th most all-time in the FCS among kickers. Broke the school record set by Adam Keller, who had 359 in his career at North Dakota State.
Nodak Insurance Company look at the touchdown pass. There's the hit. Oh yeah, he did lead. Smacked him with his forehead. Jensen, you mentioned picked up a touchdown last week. He's got another one this week. One of the many seniors, a senior to senior combination.
Let's take a look at Harper's hit on stick.
Just headbutts him.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no better definition of leading with your head than that. If I did read Nick Hill's lips correctly, he's right. That was stupid.
Peterson on for another Peterson Farm Seat kickoff and booting it away from the 50-yard line and through the back of the end zone with the 15-yard personal foul on Harper. Take a look at our Bobcats scoring recap. Boy, we've had a lot of them already, a lot of quick drives. 4 plays, 75 yards as Jensen hauls one in from 60 yards. 2 touchdowns on the season for the senior from Wapaka, Wisconsin. Same hometown as legendary quarterback Brock Jensen.
Spelled differently. Last names, even though they're both Jensen. Brock and Nate.
Burton into the backfield. He will get the carry. Boy, nice job by Dan Marlette as the ball came out. And there are 3 Bison on the bottom of the pile, and they got it. Greg Menard falls on top of it for NDSU.
Here's your Nodak Insurance Company replay. Davis gets stopped, and the ball comes out right away. It was Dan Marlette that gets the ball out. So he'll get a tackle, a forced fumble, and Menard will get a fumble recovery. And the Bison get the ball on the 22.
Boy, a lot of things have happened already here in the first part of this quarter. Stick to throw again. Ellefson wide open. Touchdown.
And his touchdown catch percentage just keeps going up.
11 receptions on the season. Now 7 touchdowns on the season. That's a team lead.
This is so, I mean, it is stupid how wide open this is. And I don't mean stupid as in stupid play. It's just how incredibly wide open Ben is. There's a free release, and if you saw it, the safety or the defensive back's supposed to pick him up. He stands flat-footed, lets the tight end run right past him, and that's as easy as it gets.
And you just have a lot of players that have not played a lot of games in the secondary, and that's a blown coverage for the Salukis as Peterson booms through another extra point.
Yeah, but that was Quay Brown, who has played some reps. I mean, he had a couple of fumble recoveries. He's been out there. He's been playing quite a bit as a strong safety. And he's in a position where here comes a guy and you just let him run right behind you. You're the safety. There's nobody behind you. You have to make a move to try to guard this guy, and he didn't.
Quay Brown did miss 5 games this year with injury, and that's just been the story of the season for the Salukis.
That is crazy with Elfson, though. 7 touchdowns on 11 catches.
Just giving him a little grief last week when I said, Ben, all you do is catch touchdowns. He goes, that's what I'm going for. 22 yards on that connection from Stick. And Easton Stick is a perfect 7 of 7 for 182 yards and 2 scores. Peterson on for yet another Peterson farm seat kickoff. This taken from the goal line, DJ Davis this time. This tackle by Dawson Weber, redshirt freshman out of California.
Real good angle on that kick, though. Did you see when the catch was made and where he was? He was only about 3 steps from the pylon, so really good job on the angle.
Let's go down to Ryan Gellner.
Hey guys, you talk about senior day. Well, this one has a new meaning. How about this? We have found a senior, 91 years old, at her first Bison game. Elizabeth, this is a treat for you, isn't it?
Very much so. Very much so.
You're in the
football. From the West Coast, there was good football.
You've been in Fargo now for 20 years. You've been in Fargo for 20 years. This is your first time, though, inside the Fargo Dome for a Bison game. Pretty special, isn't it?
It is. Very special. Very special.
91 years old, and you said you enjoy every minute of football.
Oh, absolutely. I'm an old PE teacher, so you know that is. Physical
The
education.
old Phi Ed teacher.
Yes,
We love those guys in school.
I went to the University of California, Berkeley, and got my degree in physical education.
And now you're back in the front row for the first time at 91 years old. Got a couple of players' autographs, things like that. You're like a kid at heart.
This guy's doing it all. I don't know what he's doing up there with all that, but I'll have fun looking at it when I get home.
It is special, especially on senior day. We appreciate the joke and the play on words there, but welcome to your first game. You hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, it's been great. I don't do much cheering and all, but up here, this is all great.
Well, we're glad to have you here. Guys, back to you.
And you're on television.
Thank you, Ryan. That's pretty cool. 3rd and 5 here coming up after a couple of runs by Jonathan Mixon, the senior tailback for the Salukis. DeSomer to throw, has some time, and he's going to throw into double coverage, and Robbie Grimsley has his 15th career interception.
Robbie's second active interceptor in the FCS. And as Brian mentioned, just picked up number 15, his 4th of the year. Nodak Insurance Company replay. He did look like to me, he got that left foot down. He does plenty. That's perfect. Good ball skills up top. Head down. Look at where watch how he sees where his foot is. Yep, I'm in. I got it. Our team has the ball.
With one more.
The previous play is under review.
With one more interception, he would tie his old secondary mate, Trey Dempsey, for 16. And that would be tied for second most all-time at North Dakota State. I don't think anybody's going to catch Marcus Williams with his 21.
Yeah, there was a run when Marcus was playing and playing well where you just shook your head every time they even threw it to his side. I'm like, why would you even do that? And then he picks it and runs it back for 6 points the other way. But I thought in live action it happened kind of right down in front of us. I didn't think there was any question he had control of the football and 1 foot in. But it's not because they meaning the replay booth doesn't think it's there. This is just standard practice. Every touchdown and every change of possession is reviewed. There it is. You can see it. It's right behind there. He's got it.
Confirmed. First down, North Dakota State. The 42-yard line. Play clock, game clock starting to snap.
Grimsley had 10 tackles back in 2015 against Southern Illinois. Just shows you how long he's been playing football here at North Dakota State. And with just a couple of more solo tackles, will tie a pretty good football player here. You remember the name? Ramon Humber? He had 147 solo tackles. He's still playing football.
Still in the NFL.
10 years now in the NFL, currently with the Buffalo Bills. Ty Brooks, boy, tough run, getting some help from his tight end Ellison, pushing to the 40-yard line, gain of 7, finally wrapped up on the play by Luke Giggling, redshirt freshman out of St. Louis.
You know, I understand and I know that the Bison want to establish some physical dominance, and you do that by running the football, which is what they do here. But if NDSU wants to score again, they can do a play-action fake and score again down the field. It's there.
Phoenix Sproul's the only receiver. And how about that little jet sweep? Catching SIU off guard and us as Brock Robbins chugs around the 30 down to the 25-yard line before he's bumped out of bounds.
Nate Jensen showed us his pass receiving skills a little bit earlier on that touchdown. Here he's showing off little blocking skills. You're going to watch on this Nodak Insurance Company replay, number 85, right there, get a great block. He just wipes out the corner. Robbins is able to turn the corner and get rolling downfield.
15 yards on that carry for Brock Robbins. Robbins 5 carries now, 31 yards on the season. Stick is going to go downfield again. Terrence Henley, good coverage that time, the transfer from Miami. And the intended target is a guy we have not seen yet this season. It's another true freshman, Zach Mathis, a wide receiver that the Bison were able to sign in the late signing period. And he is a tall drink of water. You stand up next to him, he is all of 6'6".
Well, they wanted to get the new guy an opportunity to make his first catch here for the Bison, but I thought Stick, if he would have stayed just a hair more patient, there were some things over the middle that were about to open up.
Anderson met in the backfield. Well done that time by Jordan Berner. Loss of 2.
Berner's a good looking sophomore, 6'6", 264. The kid I really like on the defensive line is number 11, Anthony Knighton, second in the Valley in sacks. And he was the guy that, there he is right there. He's real athletic, moves real well. I think he's got a chance to be pretty darn good.
Was the runner-up for the Missouri Valley Newcomer of the Year on defense, but Jabril Cox was the guy that ended up winning that award for North Dakota State.
He should have.
Stick gonna air it out again. One-on-one coverage. And coming in was Henley to pretty much tackle the intended target, Dallas Freeman. And that'll be pass interference and a first down for NDSU.
That's what I was talking about there with Stick staying just a hair more patient, and things over the middle are going to open up.
Pass interference. Defense number 12. 15-yard penalty is from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
North Dakota State has a chance to get 35 points on the board in the opening quarter of the game. South Dakota State scored 57 last week in Carbondale.
Well, last week's game too in Carbondale. Southern scores 38 points and really got kind of blown away. That's tough when you score that many points and at the end of the game you're not in it.
Brooks tiptoeing through a hole. Dragged down on the play by Julian Hilton. Transfer from Illinois, senior. North Dakota State, after that carry, 250 total yards offensively already. Ty Brooks again. Tackled by Giggling. Pick up about 4 more. We'll bring up 3rd and 2.
It appeared that the block that Ty was looking for just got hung up a hair. Nodak Insurance Company replay. There you saw Colin Connor, number 64, just got caught up a little bit with one of his own teammates before he could get a really good push off to your right. If he's able to make that block on time, that one probably goes for 6.
Here's a look at Connor, one of the 3 seniors on this North Dakota State offensive line. Stick's gonna keep it this time. Trying to stay alive, and I think got enough for a first down, or close to it. Malik Haynes had him by the ankle.
Here's your read option. Stick elects to keep it.
4th down.
Yeah, Burner slows him up enough for the help to get there.
That was Patterson, the safety, coming in to try to hold on before Haynes finished him off.
Bison 4 for 4 on 4th downs this year.
Anderson following some blocks. All going to depend on the spot. Boy, not looking like it right now based on where the official came into market. Chance Bush, a true freshman from Florida, came in to help make that tackle.
Going to see the chains on this one, but yeah, that mark does look like it might be a hair short.
A pretty good goal line stand here for SIU. And that is the first time that North Dakota State has gone for it on 4th down and not gotten it. Bison were 4 for 4 coming in.
Kodak Insurance Company replay. I mean, right there, I thought that there was going to be enough momentum there from Anderson, but he gets turned. That's no tree from the inside. Somebody crabbing underneath from the outside to shut that down.
Now that was Chance Bush, a true freshman that has to play.
Yeah, because there's nobody else.
So SIU will start from the 3. Pile continues to move forward. Gain of 5 for Jonathan Mixon. 19 career touchdowns at SIU, which ties Brandon Jacobs for 9th most in program history. Might remember that name.
Played, won a couple of Super Bowls.
Yeah, with the Giants.
Actually, the Salukis have some pretty big names in their alumni list.
Pitch to Leonard. Bison shut it down. 4 different green jerseys got in there to help make that tackle.
I thought James Hendricks was the first one there. He did a really good job of keeping his hands free
and
played off the block to end the quarter.
That will finally take us to the end of the first quarter. Might be here until 10 o'clock tonight, the way this one's moving along. SIU, a good start off the kick return from Burton, but the Bison have roared back. 2-touchdown lead after 1. An action-packed first quarter. Now it's time for the second quarter as we take a look at your fun fact brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council. Eating soy foods may help protect against prostate cancer. Research suggests that regular consumption of soy foods may reduce the risk of prostate cancer by as much as 30%. 3rd down play. It's a run play for the Salukis, and no gain. Back to the 9-yard line by Mixon. Cole Karch coming up from his defensive tackle position. It's a guy that may not get enough recognition for as many reps as he gets. 6.5 sacks, second most on the team behind only Greg Menard.
Cole started his career with the Bison as a defensive end, and then he puts a bunch of weight on, moved on inside, and used those really. I mean, he's really an athlete in there as a defensive tackle.
Shepard coming up to field the punt at the 45-yard line. Oh, this guy's dangerous in space. He's going to run out of real estate here real quick. Oh, he's still on his feet, and he almost broke it down the sideline. Boy, just tripped up at the last moment there by Jalen Graham.
I thought Lenore did a pretty good job of stringing that out. And then at the tail end of it, right there's Lenore's number 17. He strings it out. They think, oh, look at all the white shirts. We're going to corral him. And nope. Shep kind of dips underneath that and gets going. You mentioned him being top 5. He's 3rd in the FCS in punt returns.
North Dakota State, another short field, starting at the SIU 38. Boy, a couple of great blocks out front for Ty Brooks. He is finally wrapped up by Giggling, who's been busy here in the first half. Interestingly enough, Giggling's father played at SIU, but he played baseball.
Watch 74, Tanner Volson. You just saw a little bit of a roll there, but you got to remember he's snapping the ball and then pulling. It's very, very difficult to do, and you have to be a tremendous athlete. Brian and I were talking before the game. I think that Tanner Volson, number 74, is going to be a kid that is really going to be hard to replace because he brings a dynamic athleticism to that center position that has been tremendous.
Stick time again. Now he'll run outside and fire downfield. Open man in the back of the end zone is caught by Shepard. Touchdown.
Now we've already established in this game that if given time, somebody will break open. You had a linebacker on the slot back and wide open is Shepard. And the Bison have done a really good job this year of getting number 20 head up against people who just can't guard him.
Peterson yet another extra point. 35-14 your score. 13-13 left in the second quarter. Easton Stick has his third touchdown pass of the day. This one going to his favorite target, Darius Shepard. Bison up 21. Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, Gate City Bank home loans are locally approved, finance, and service. Gate City Bank for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Peterson on to boot this one away once again as Quarles retreats back inside his end zone to make the fair catch. I misspoke a moment ago about Ramon Hubbard. He actually just signed with the Patriots a few days ago. Was with the Bills a couple of seasons, and now he is with the Patriots.
Well, the last touchdown catch there by Darius Shepard, just to give you an indication, you mentioned his favorite receiver. Well, coming into this game, Shepard had caught 38% of all pass receptions for the Bison have gone to that guy right there, number 20. Boy, he's been big. The Bison needed him this year with that relatively inexperienced receiving core other than him.
173 career receptions at North Dakota State, fifth most in program history. Carry for Davis. Gains 1. As we take a look at the Bobcat scoring recap for North Dakota State. 2 plays, 38 yards. Another quick one under a minute as Shepard hauls one in from 31 yards out. Shepard now with 17 career touchdowns as well. DeSomer under pressure. He'll fire on the run. It is on target. Nicely done. Bonansinga makes the reception for a first down all the way up to the 45.
Nice read after the roll because Destin Talbert, the freshman, was playing in the short zone, and then Hendricks was playing back. He was able to spot that window right between them. Step up, roll out, and there's that little spot right between Talbert and Hendricks, and DeSomer hits it.
Davis quickly through a hole. Dan Marlette, an important tackle for North Dakota State at the 50.
Yeah, if he gets clean past Marlette, it's one-on-one against Bridges. And if he gets past Bridges, that's another long touchdown.
Davis did have 201 yards last week against South Dakota State, a career high. Davis kind of stumbles as he took that handoff. Cole Karch makes the tackle. Pickup of a few more. 3rd and 1 coming up.
Right at the whistle, Jabril Cox hit the turf, and one of the offensive linemen, and he said hello just a hair afterwards. I mean, the Saluki offensive line is not the most physical offensive line in the world. And so the way that it is played, there's been a ton of production on the offensive side out of these skill positions. So, I mean, the Salukis have really been able to move the ball this year.
DeSomer play action. Oh, he's got a man open downfield. Streaking free was Leonard, and it was just out of his reach. And he had Bridges beat, but now roughing the passer called after the play on Marlette.
Dan Marlette hit him. Hit him a little late. Not a targeting. There wasn't a launch or a lead with a helmet, but he gets a shoulder into DeSomer right there.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 48. 15-yard penalty is from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
So that will move the ball all the way down to the 31-yard line of NDSU. Nick Hill is also the offensive coordinator in addition to being the head coach. So he continues to call plays for the Salukis.
Yeah, when he started as the quarterback coach there, he replaced a guy you may have heard of, Randy Hedberg.
Mixon finding a crease to get through. He's finally wrapped up by Marlette. Good pickup of 8 yards.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Inside handoff with the lead fullback block. Pretty clean through the line. That was well blocked up front.
Very well blocked. Mixon's been limited to just 7 games this season. Some injuries. Greg Menard came flying in from his defensive end position, then got some help. And I don't think there was any gain on that play for Mixon.
Mixon's helmet comes off, so he'll have to go to the sideline for a play.
.5'11", 230 pounds. Galesburg, Illinois. Southern Illinois 1 of 4 on third down. North Dakota State on the season has been really good in this department. 31% is all the Bison are giving up. And somebody moved, and a flag comes out, and they're going to say a false start.
I think I count 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh, there is 12 players on the field.
False start. Offense. Number 68. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Jacob Marnin, Jr. out of Altoona, Iowa.
11. No, 11. I'm wrong. Obviously.
With the penalty makes it 3rd and 7 for the Salukis.
Now the Bison will go to nickel here as Wimbush comes in. Jordheim comes off.
Guy to keep an eye on the bottom of your screen is Nigel Kilby. He's a tight end, but he plays like a wide receiver. DeSomer stepping out of a couple of tackles. And the senior scampers ahead to the 20-yard line and gets enough for a Saluki first down.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. This is what DeSomer does so much better than Sam Straub, who was playing at the beginning of the year. He's able to gain some yards with his feet. He's kind of a tough runner too. He's not afraid to get some difficult yardage.
427 rush yards coming in this season. DeSomer will take off again, and he's tripped up by Derek Tuska. Still able to get across the 20 to the 19.
Tuska playing on the top off the block of Lucas Davis, one of the tackles. Able to dive and get an ankle.
Well, so far this second quarter moving along at warp speed compared to what we had in the first quarter.
I don't have a problem with that.
Davis in motion. Blitz coming across the middle, and it is intercepted right into the hands of James Hendricks. Excuse me, Grimsley came up with it. That's the second of the day for the senior from Hutchinson.
Ruling on the field is an interception.
Nodak Insurance
First down,
Company
North Dakota
replay,
State.
perfect look. It goes right over the hands of the big 6'8" guy. And playing some center field is Robbie Grimsley. Oh yeah.
He got it.
Absolutely. Second of the day.
So now he has tied Trey Dempsey, his former secondary mate at safety, for 16 on his career.
Grimsley also passes Jabril Cox for the team lead this year because Cox had 4 interceptions heading into today.
Anderson gaining 3 or 4 yards before he is finally stopped. Talking to some of the folks at Southern Illinois this week too, LT, is what happened right there for SIU has really been a microcosm of their season. Just shooting themselves in the foot, making mistakes. And SIU -5 in turnover margin coming into the game, which is 94th in the FCS.
And that's where NDSU has been so good this year, coming in at a +13 and then adding to it.
Stick is going to throw it downfield for Ellefson. Covered tightly on the play by Chance Bush.
And there is a flag at the at the 16-yard line. Well, as open as the tight ends have been, it's easy to see why the Bison wanted to try to sneak another one deep. A lineman downfield. That's what I thought the early indication was.
An eligible receiver downfield, offense number 75. That penalty has been declined. Result of the play is 3rd down.
Dylan Radens on that penalty, but of course it will be declined to bring up 3rd and 6. This is only the 3rd down. For 3rd down, this is only the 3rd opportunity for the Bison here in the first half. They've scored so quickly, have not been in this position very often so far here this afternoon. Stick firing the comeback route to Freeman. Nice reception for the senior from St. Michael, Minnesota. And that's enough for a Bison first down.
Pass was out in front of Freeman, catches it kind of with that star technique and just locks onto it. Doesn't have to bring it in or tuck it because he knows he's not going to get hit real hard. Just makes that reception, rolls up on top, and gives NDSU the first down.
The run up the middle. Taken for a couple of yards. Coming in to make that stop was Anthony Knighton. That was the first carry for Adam Cofield today, or was it Brooks? It was Adam Cofield getting his carry. Cofield's a guy that's getting more and more reps, LT, as the season goes along. Had a couple of touchdown runs against Missouri State. 342 rush yards on the season.
The thing I think we're seeing with Cofield is we're seeing how well he can do in traffic. He won't get a chance.
Another reception for the tight ends. Ellefson wrestled out of bounds and thrown to the turf by Quay Brown, but he's got enough for a first down to the 33.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Little naked boot. Slide your tight end out into the flat. Get him one-on-one with a safety. Brown makes the tackle, but not after. Ellefson picks up the first down. Counters, misdirections, those types of plays have worked a lot against the Salukis this year.
Cofield almost stepped out of a tackle there from Knighton, but is tripped up after a gain of 3, and had he been able to get outside, there's a lot of room out there for the sophomore out of Missouri.
But we're seeing one of the things that Coach Messingham told us is to try to expect a little bit more inside running game this week. That one looked a little bit more like the traditional power type of a run that the Bison have been so successful with over the close to the last decade. And NDSU has the luxury on defense of rolling so many defensive linemen in. This Saluki team does not have that luxury. There's a lot of reps on those kids with their hands on the turf.
Jet sweep to Freeman. Trying to get around the edge. Working off a block from Darius Shepard, and he's close to a first down, out of bounds at the 43, about a yard short.
Yeah, he made a late lunge at it, but I think that right foot of his did hit out.
We saw Freeman score a touchdown on a run very similar to that a few weeks ago.
That was the same style of play, but to the other side. His touchdown came on a jet sweep going from the offense's right to left.
Stick play action. Drops it off to Brock Robbins, who's fighting for extra yardage. Finally dropped by Brown at the 45-yard line of SIU, and NDSU another third down conversion.
And another type of play that shows action one way, and then the play is designed to come back the other way. It's been a success so far in this game. It has worked against the Salukis so far this year, and there's another successful play doing that. So there's no puller. There's nobody on a naked boot. So there's no way that the defense can make an easy read that the quarterback's going to roll that way. Broken play.
Cofield may have gone the wrong way. Stick taken down by Knighton at about the line of scrimmage.
No gain on the play. Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Bison.
Interestingly enough, we have not seen Lance Dunn today. Sure if there's an ailment going on there.
But in essence, if you don't play today, you actually buy 2 weeks off, because the Bison will get a bye in the first round.
Anderson cutting it back inside. Berner comes in to make another tackle. Helped out on the play by Tyree Jackson, redshirt freshman out of Orlando. And it's been a while since we've seen Bruce Anderson with extended reps. He's played here and there the last couple of weeks, but Chris Kleiman has been very careful with his senior to make sure he is fully healthy from a hamstring injury, and Dunn tweaked a hamstring as well. That's kind of been the injury this year for NDSU.
It has been, but there's the luxury of having that depth. Now Anderson's back feeling well. Dunn can sit out.
Stick gonna throw again, and that ball may have been deflected, and I think it was still caught by Jensen. The tight end's having a field day on senior day today.
Might have been Notary that got a hand on it, but Shepard is the inside receiver. He runs a clear out. This should come right at you. Check 54 on the bottom of your screen. If he gets a hand on it, he certainly did. Oh, super job by the tight end. After that ball loses its rotation, to be able to just keep following it in and making the catch.
Just 9 receptions on the season for Jensen. He has 2 catches for 78 yards and a score already here today. Stuck across the middle again, and that one's intercepted. Stepping in and taking it away is Joe Patterson.
Just the 4th time this year that has happened where Stick has thrown an interception. So to have 4 picks on game 11, not bad. Trying to hit Shepard inside.
Interception by the defense.
Yeah,
First down, Southern Illinois.
Patterson does a very nice job of jumping that route, getting his body inside of the favorite target for Shepard. Kind of wins his way to the spot.
Again, this is a guy that was moved to safety in spring ball just a few months ago, excuse me. Now, as a walk-on, forced into playing time. We'll step aside. 2:13 to go until halftime. Bison still lead by 21 on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Show your Bison pride today with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecity.bank/mycard. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC. Sommer dropping it off. Davis cutting it to the outside. It's a nifty runner, getting all the way across the 30 up to the 33.
I like this guy.
Yeah, he's got really good feet.
Yep, he's a junior. He stayed in on pass block, but soon as he saw that the Bison were not blitzing on the play, he drops out of pass pro, just dumps into the right over the line. Let him do his thing.
By the way, Davis, a high school teammate of Desmond Kane at American Heritage High School in Florida. Connection there. And that's a misread. Leonard went streaking free to Sommer. Thought he was heading to the sideline, and that's incomplete.
Spencer Wagey, a good look at him. The Bison have done some interesting things with him throughout the course of the year. He's in at tackle.
NDSU showing some pressure here with their linebackers, both Jordheim and Marlette. Now maybe Maddox changing it up.
Well, he showed pressure before the last play and then dropped.
Tuska giving chase to Sommer. Trying to find Leonard. Off his hands, out of bounds. Incomplete, 3rd and 10.
Pressure comes up the middle with Williams, and then off the edges, Tuska. It's actually better Leonard doesn't make this catch. Here's an ISO on Tuska going one-on-one. He does a really good job of getting into Bailey. You see how his hands initially gets right into the shoulder pad, so he won the battle of the hands right off the bat. Such an important part of line play that you don't usually get a chance to see.
Southern Illinois has just 3 completed passes today. DeSommer in trouble, he's dropped. Bison put the pressure on, Tuska got in there.
Nodak Insurance Company replay, you're able to see where the Bison ran an X with their defensive tackles. They've been doing that a lot today. This guy comes to the high side, the other guy comes underneath. By the time DeSommer feels or sees the pressure from the inside, it is collapsing from the outside.
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute.
Too tough for him to step up in that pocket. 4th and 16 coming up for SIU, and we return. Another punting situation for Southern Illinois. Oh, the Bison came after, nearly got there. Another wobbler bouncing at the 45-yard line. Interestingly enough, we have not seen the normal SIU punter today. Instead, we have seen Andrew Ankle, who's a sophomore out of Riverview, Florida. Let's go down to Ryan Gellner.
Hey guys, a couple minutes ago you asked about Lance Dunn. He has not been in the football game, and we do not expect him in the football game. I've been told he tweaked a hamstring this week in practice, precautionary reasons. They decided that it's probably best just to sit him out.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. And there's a look at the senior from Waterloo. Averaging about 68 rush yards a game. Nearly 2,900 in his career. Run to the outside, room for Anderson. Flag comes in back at the 48-yard line. He is finally dragged to the turf by Patterson. Had that interception a moment ago.
Palms to the sky, Des Kane. Nodak Insurance Company replay, see if we can pick it up. But no, how do you like big number 74 coming at you? It's off to your left is where I believe the hold happened.
North Dakota State, one of the least penalized teams in the FCS. Just about 4 penalties a game.
Personal foul, legal block below the waist. Offense number 52. 15-yard penalty is from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
Okay, well, that can't be the
well,
right
that's
number.
That's not right.
Because there is no 52 on offense for NDSU.
Well, I just looked at Des, and I'm going by his reaction that he felt he did something wrong.
So that'll really back up North Dakota State. 1:12 to go in the half. 1st and 22. Stick dropping it out. Radin's out there to try to set the block. Anderson is stacked up. Good team pursuit that time by Southern Illinois. A pickup of about 7 yards. Time continues to run. The Bison still with a couple of timeouts. Easton Stick will hurry his team to the line of scrimmage.
A nice hustle out of Chucky Sullivan, sophomore defensive end.
Stick a little bit low, and was it caught?
Nope.
No. So now 3rd down and long coming up for NDSU. Desmond Kane, the intended target.
It's a 3rd and 17 for the Bison.
Stick's number is pretty good. 13 of 17, 266 yards here in the first half throwing.
And 3 touchdowns.
Did have the 1 pick taken by Joe Patterson in the red zone. Bison will play it conservative here as Anderson will get what he can up to the 44. And now Nick Hill will call his first timeout with 29 seconds left in the half.
Charge timeout. Southern Illinois. That's their first of the half. It'll be 30 seconds in duration.
Well, with a special teams touchdown right off the bat, the very first play of the game, Coach Hill must be thinking, well, maybe we can get another one here in special teams.
North Dakota State 14 first downs in the opening half. The Bison 371 total yards.
We saw a look at Coach Roll. He's in charge of the fullbacks and tight ends, and what a position room that group has been.
Yeah, Brock Robbins, a couple of receptions. SIU does come after it. Flying in was Leonard trying to make the block. Burton calls for the fair catch at the 9. So Nick Hill taking a gamble. They're trying to get after it, and Wegner did get it away.
The Bison did get one blocked a couple weeks ago.
Start your Saturday off right with the weekend kickoff with Andy Rickoff.
Pretty light workload so far for Garrett Wegner here in the first half.
Andy gets your weekend started right with all the info you need on that day's NDSU matchup, along with all the big stories in the world of sports.
That was the Bison's first punt of the afternoon. Davis will get the carry. Jabril Cox giving chase along with Marquise Bridges. 17 seconds left until halftime.
Yeah, when your punter's not being used much, that's a good thing. My brother once had a game where he punted 16 times. If you think of the Augie teams back in the NCC days in the mid-'80s, they weren't very good. There's an indication of it.
There's Wagee coming off his block to slow down Davis. Help arrives. Is enough for a first down.
My brother still holds that record too, by the way. Man, that's bad. I'm trying to figure out what Coach Hill was trying to accomplish with that late timeout. I mean, no big verticals or home run type plays, and that'll get us to the half.
Jalen Graham, just his second reception of the season. North Dakota State.
That's the end of the first half.
Leads at 35-14 here at halftime. Chris Kleiman making his way over to Ryan Gellner, and now Gellner standing by.
Coach, they got you early on the kick return, but your offense really responded.
Yeah, we can't give up explosive plays. They had an explosive pass play and then the kick return. We're missing some opportunities. I'm glad we're ahead, but we're missing some opportunities. We got to clean some things up here at halftime.
All right, we'll let you get it fixed. Thank you. Guys, back upstairs to you.
All right, thank you so much, Ryan. The Bison rack up 371 total yards, 266 of those through the air, as Easton Stick has 3 touchdown passes. And the Bison lead at 35-14 here on Senior Day. North Dakota State's largest ever senior class in program history. 24 of them playing their final regular season home game. But there's more football to come here at the Dome in December. Proceed halftime report. Coming up next, Alex Egan, Beth Hool standing by in our studio. Welcome back to the Fargo Dome. Final game of the regular season. The Bison trying to improve to a perfect 11-0 and take the top seed into the FCS playoffs. Brian, Sean, Lee Timmerman with you. Ryan Gellner, the third member of our broadcast team, had a chance to catch up with Southern Illinois head coach Nick Hill.
Hit them early on, couple of big plays, but North Dakota State, they got a lot of bullets.
Yeah, they do, and can't beat ourselves. I mean, the 3 turnovers are disappointing, especially that red zone interception, but we've seen it all. They've got more red zone picks than I think anybody in the country, and we'll let one slip away. I mean, that's what we've got to make them earn it, too. You know, too many big plays from an offense that will just go down there and drive on you, so we got to make them work. We got to come out here and get a stop, and then we got to find a way to win this quarter, put it into the fourth quarter.
In fairness, you're beat up on defense, you lose another kid on defense. They didn't make it easy for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, when Madre, but that's undisciplined as can be. That's the right call. He's got to come out. We teach that, we preach it. That's just an undisciplined play that we've got to get corrected. And but yeah, now that he's out, he's the one guy that, and so, but those guys are going to come out there and compete. That's not an excuse. They got to at least be in the right spot, get the call, get lined up, and that's what I want to see in the second half.
All right, good stuff. Best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Guys,
All
back
right.
upstairs to you.
Thanks so much, Ryan. And LT, I think Nick Hill kind of summarized it perfectly. You know, we're trying to put guys in position to make plays, but we've made it too easy for North Dakota State offensively.
Well, you talk about the big plays. Just look at the touchdowns that the Bison have had for big plays: a 36, a 60, a 22, and a 31. And another thing I was doing was some quick math with Easton Stick that this year, 17% of the passes that he has completed have gone for touchdowns. So almost 2 out of 10. That's how efficient that the Bison have been through the passing game this year.
And North Dakota State last in the Missouri Valley in passing when you look at that. But when you look at pass efficiency, one of the
tremendous.
best in the league.
Yep.
So if you put all that together, we asked Courtney Messingham, the offensive coordinator, about the chunk plays, the explosive plays. And he said that's what he's most proud of, is we're getting bigger chunks in the passing play, in the passing game. Guys like Desmond Kane, guys like Dallas Freeman, they're making big catches downfield, and that's what we need them to do.
Bison will get the first chance here on offense to maybe make a few more of those big plays.
Ty Brooks back deep along with Christian Watson. Have not seen the redshirt freshman from Plant High School in Tampa back there yet this season. But an opportunity here on special teams as Nico Gualdoni, sophomore kicker, will boot this one away. Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Watson hesitated for a moment. Now he'll bring it out. Trying to follow Brooks, and he is hammered at the 15-yard line. Great tackle by Chucky Sullivan.
Well, it's usually that little hesitation that you don't like to see. If you catch it, you come right away. If you hesitate, you look down and you see yellow here, go ahead and stay in.
Let's take a look at those numbers on Easton Stick, brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission, funded by beef farmers and ranchers.
Yeah, beyond good. 13 completions, averaging over 20 yards a completion here today. The one pick, he wants that one back, but 3 more touchdowns for Stick.
82 passing touchdowns. 5th most in Missouri Valley history. Running between the tackles has not been easy today. Malik Haynes got in there to disrupt that run as Bruce Anderson picked up a couple.
He did. That's a big man right there. They list him at 327 pounds. He is a junior. Has 7.5 tackles for loss coming into today. So that tackle there specifically, not for a loss, but obviously gives you an indication that throughout the course of the year, he's been pretty good inside.
Anderson 11 carries, just 22 yards. Quickly fired out to Darius Shepard. Again, closing quickly to make the tackle is Chance Bush. Forced into action after Madre Harper got ejected in the first half.
Kodak Insurance Company replay, you're trying to get that block, and it didn't quite happen. It just wasn't real clean. I mean, Kane was there. He didn't move his man a bunch, so the timing of when Shepard tries to hit that block was just a hair off.
NDSU 4 of 6 on 3rd down in the first half. The Bison about 47% on the season, which is among the best in the FCS. Stick, quick drop. Boy, Shepard is left all alone. He's got a first down and is finally forced out of bounds at about the 35-yard line by Terrence Henley.
Well, there's an indication of just fundamentally the miscommunication that the defensive secondary has. Shepard rolls in motion. We're going to see him. And then when this play develops, there will be two guys in white jerseys, and they just aren't there. I mean, they're right around Dallas Freeman. Freeman brings both the safety and the corner with him, and that's an easy first down.
4 receptions on the day now for Darius Shepard, 81 yards. And now he's got 5 receptions, cutting it back inside. And Darius Shepard showing off the speed, finally run down from behind by Bryce Notary. Team leader in tackles with 72 coming in.
Well, Shepard took advantage of Whitney Simon, number 42, the linebacker, flying out there. Last time he did fly out there and stayed there. Well, he cuts it back into the inside, over pursue. He's a little out of balance, not where he really needs to be, and the Bison take advantage of that over pursuit. That was a real nice adjustment there by Shepard after the catch.
Now at 99 reception yards on the day is the senior from Blue Springs, Missouri. Back to the ground game. Brooks sneaking through a hole, and Ty Brooks tackled by the ankle by Bush, but another first down for NDSU to the 34.
Well, you used the term sneaking. I don't know how much he snuck there because that hole was massive. It's really big, and it's coming right at you. Really nice kick out there by Johnson. You also have Bacon in there making a nice a job of just having an initial push, but the right side of the offensive line. That was about as good as it gets.
Brooks, 6 carries, 70 yards. Leads NDSU in rushing today. Stick has 4 receivers in the pattern. Now he's going to fire deep. Desmond Kane trying to make the adjustment, but unable to come back to the ball, and he is howling at the official that he was interfered with. No flag.
I thought this was a tough thing for Stick to ask Kane to do, and then Easton, you see him take the hit. He didn't have his feet set to try to get that ball 40, 50 yards downfield, but Kane's pass pattern was taking him toward the corner of the end zone, and he wanted Kane to make an adjustment and go back toward the post. Really tough to do that far apart.
Brooks working up another couple of blocks, and Brooks almost squirting free. Finally taken down at the 20-yard line. Gain of about 15 more for the junior out of Fargo South.
DB nightmare. Look at 74, Volson. You're the strong safety, and you have to come up and try to take out a guy who's over 300 pounds, who moves well and is squared up on you. You know who's going to lose, and that's you if you're the defender.
It's pretty good hustle there from Chucky Sullivan, coming all the way from the backside of his defensive end, positioned to make that tackle from behind. Maybe he saved a touchdown there. Not as much room for Brooks. Anthony Knighton coming up to make that stop after a gain of 3. And Knighton, a guy that played every snap last week against South Dakota State. That's a lot to ask of any defensive lineman.
Yeah, and then you follow that up playing against the #1 team in the country. But we talked about him in the first half, how he's an impressive athlete. I think he's just going to continue to get better. Second leading tackler in the conference heading into this game.
Just a sophomore. And again, everybody on this defense back with the exception of Whitney Simon. Oh, Anderson's got room to the outside. Bruce Anderson, touchdown.
There wasn't much edge that needed to be secured, but Tanner Volson took care of that. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Your center gets out in front of you. Make sure that Notary can't get to the edge. Excellent downfield blocking. Shepard, Freeman, among others, making nice blocks right at the goal line.
Extra point from Peterson, knocked through, and it's 42-14. A tidy little 4.5-minute drive for North Dakota State to start off the second half.
Well, that was just to make sure you see the dominance, physically dominant. And look at where these blocks are down. I mean, there's just a really, really nice job downfield by everyone. Shepard and Freeman, you mentioned those two guys, but when you're able to seal a little wall right at the goal line after the guy has already ran 30-some yards, that's really good stuff.
Well, you've talked about it over the years, LT, the importance that the wide receivers play in the run game. If you cannot block, you will not play.
Yep, correct.
And Darius Shepard, for as good as he is a receiver, is an excellent run blocker downfield as well. Bobcat scoring recap, 9 plays, 85 yards, 421. As Anderson takes it in for the touchdown. 4 rushing touchdowns this season for Anderson, 19 in his career.
Again, that just re-emphasized what we already knew, how much more physical that the Bison are than the Salukis are in this particular matchup.
Pooch kickoff that time off the foot of Peterson. Fair catch called for and made by Jalen Graham. Now maybe an opportunity here in the next couple of series to insert some fresher bodies, some more of the players on the 2 deep, some of the backups.
Well, a lot of them have already played. Now Talbot played a little bit in the first half. We saw Hankey out there. This looks like your standard starting unit.
DeSalmer off the hands of Bonansinga. Incomplete. Jabril Cox in coverage.
The one thing that I thought I picked up there that the Bison did a little bit different is they had Dan Marlette playing a little bit different position.
Almost had Robbie Grimsley come into the box as a linebacker.
Yeah.
Karch comes in, Wimbush comes in as the extra defensive back.
There's the nickel. That's the nickel man right there. Jalen Wimbush. He replaces the linebacker.
Sommer trying to drop it off for his tight end. Boy, more good coverage from North Dakota State.
Well timed by Bridges.
Marquise Bridges, the junior out of Minneapolis. Nigel Kilby missed some time this season. A couple of games with a hamstring. Was the number 3 rated JUCO tight end in the country when he got to SIU, and actually came into this game tied with Ben Ellefson for most receiving touchdowns for a tight end.
With 6.
DeSalmer under pressure, running for his life. Caleb Butler will not let him get away.
I thought it was yeah, you're right, Butler. I saw Wagey in there too, but yeah, Caleb Butler runs him down. Double-figure career sacks for Butler.
Tough day for Matt DeSalmer. Did have the 59-yard touchdown to Raphael Leonard, but out of that side of that, just 4 of 11, 114 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks.
But remember, that touchdown was a quick hitting play. When plays have time to develop, he just doesn't have time to try to get the ball downfield.
Andrew Ankle.
Prior to the ball being snapped, false start, kicking team number 87. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Ankle's been handling all the punting duties today. Now, one thing that Nick Hill was asked about, LT, in his press conferences, are you going to make some changes on your staff based on what's going on? And did not want to address it, said we're just going to focus on North Dakota State, and we'll look at everything in the offseason. Oh, a snap goes over the head of punter out of bounds. That'll be a safety for the Bison, and it is 44-14. Oh, boy.
Well, once it sails that far and that fast over his head, that's a best case scenario for the Salukis. Give up the 2 points and not 6.
We step aside. North Dakota State's extended the lead now to 30. 9:37 to go in the 3rd quarter. Buying, building, or refinancing. Start with a Gate City Bank Blue Standard pre-approval and experience a better home loan. Get started today at gatecity.bank. For a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. North Dakota State with a touchdown, and then the safety off the high snap from SIU has set up North Dakota State with a 30-point lead, and now they get the football again. Booted away from the 20. Trevor Height back deep for the first time today. The sophomore from Pepin, Wisconsin on this return. And Height finding a little bit of a crease and a seam, and good yardage on that return up to the 43-yard line. Quartles coming in to make the tackle.
Nodak Insurance Company replay look at Height. Does a nice job in traffic here, and I think right there, you know, he's hit a little bit, but still keep that momentum going.
Reminds me a little bit of Eric Perkins, and a young man that came here from small town Wisconsin. He still kind of hangs around, helps with the staff a little bit, is a trainer in town. Brooks working off a couple blocks. Ty Brooks still on his feet. Brooks to the 35, and a strong finish as Henley came in to finally make the tackle at about the 30-yard line. Gain of about 28.
The Bison have had really good luck just, trying to punish some things in the middle, and now you get a big slashing, another explosive play downfield. The Bison had 80 plays over 20 yards heading into this game, and they've had a ton today.
113 rushing yards for Ty Brooks on just 9 carries. 12.6 yards per rush is his average today. And now Anderson will bounce it out following a block from Ellison. Anderson into the clear, and he's got his second of the day. The Bison have blown it open here in the third quarter.
Well, the general rule of thumb is you keep it on the ground to try to grind out the clock, but the way these plays are going, there's no grinding at all. It's another big hitter. Nice kick out by Elson, a little seam here for Anderson. He cuts back, no safety in the middle, and the Bison score again.
Peterson, another extra point. 51-14 is your score on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Anderson takes it 30 yards. The Bison are rolling. Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, Gate City Bank home loans are locally approved, financed, and serviced. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Easton Stick, one of 24 seniors here honored before the game today in the final regular season home contest for the Bison. NDSU will be home here on December 1st. Opponent yet to be determined for the FCS playoffs. Another short kickoff. This time it will be returned. It's a pretty nifty running for the big man. On that return is Jacob Garrett, a fullback freshman out of Sellersburg, Indiana. Let's go down to Ryan Geller on the sidelines.
Guys, it's a First International Bank and Trust sideline report. One of the fun things about today is trying to figure out all these scenarios. Take a look at the scoreboard here, and I'll tell you which ones are final. And now we'll work our way down the left side. Elon loses to Maine, so Maine wins the CAA and eliminates Elon. East Tennessee with a big loss at home today to Samford. So now Wofford, Furman, and East Tennessee all tie for the league title, but the tiebreaker goes to Furman on point differential, so Furman gets into the playoffs likely. James Madison with a big win, 38-17. JMU guys likely a top 8 seed. Towson likely playing on Thanksgiving. Indiana State and Western Illinois. That game was huge. Indiana State wins it. ISU gets to 7 wins. One of those, though, a D2 win. So Northern Iowa, who's winning today, sits and waits. They may get in with their strength of schedule and their win over Indiana State. We'll see. Montana State comes back to beat Montana. The winner of that game, Montana State, into the playoffs likely. Montana likely out. Some games in progress. Jacksonville State, the number 6 team in the country, they're up a touchdown on number 2 Kennesaw. This game probably for a top 8 seed for the winner. The loser plays on Thanksgiving. Weber State could jump all the way to number 2 if they win. Looks like they will. They're up early in this football game. They could get home field. And how about North Dakota with everything on the line today. The team from Grand Forks right now behind 17-7 in the second quarter. So guys, we'll know tomorrow, but it's kind of fun to look at it today.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. And so many scenarios based on everything that is going on around the country. And I think the one question that you and I have is, where does South Dakota State get seated?
Where do the Jackrabbits go?
If Kennesaw State loses today, you could make a case that South Dakota State could earn themselves a 3 seed if Weber State were to move up to the 2 seed with a victory today. And I think the Jackrabbits would be fine with that instead of being in the same side of the draw as the Bison. Oh, there's room. Bursting through a hole that time is DJ Davis. Davis leads the league in all-purpose yardage per game, 144.
But there's the difference between the last time Anderson had a touchdown, and here's where Davis comes over the middle. So he makes a big break, he's over the middle, but what happens? The Bison defensive back comes up and makes a solid tackle and prevents the touchdown to happen. The safeties on the Saluki side, nowhere near where they're supposed to be. Wimbush right where he's supposed to be.
DeSolmer behind the defense, and it was hung on to by Landon Lenore. First catch of the day for Lenore, who is the brother of former Western Illinois wide receiver Lance Lenore.
He just splits the safety, goes right up the seam and gets inside of where Wimbush is. So past Jabril Cox, inside the seam of where number 23 is, a little juggle, a little catch, and a stiff arm at the end.
Lenore just 9 receptions his first year, sat out all of last year on a medical red shirt, and now 47 receptions here in 2018. Running to the outside is Mixon. He is turned back at the 4-yard line. Butler and Grimsley coming in on that tackle.
You know, we've been televising games around the valley for quite a while. It's kind of fun to see where these family members like the Lenores end up at different schools, or the McShanes will be at different schools from the same family.
And Steve McShane wrapping up his career at Western Illinois today. His brother is a freshman at UNI. Boy, Jabril Cox blew that thing up right away as Raphael Leonard got the handoff on the end around, and then about 6 green jerseys came up to make sure he would get no further than the 7-yard line.
How many of those guys get a tackle for a loss then?
Tough one.
But yeah, right there, Jabril Cox was the guy. He didn't get the initial tackle, but he did make that play happen. I have sat in with coaches before when they were grading tape, and at one point I saw 3 different guys get a half a sack. Anything is possible.
NDSU's given up only 6 red zone touchdowns this season. DeSolmer stepping up, taken down from behind. The Bison get him again, and it's Derek Tuska at the 8-yard line. Here comes the field goal unit for SIU.
We've seen this happen over and over and over again. These quarterbacks, when they step up, they underestimate the speed of the defensive ends for North Dakota State, because Tuska was way upfield. We see it from Menard too. They're able to crash and get back full speed and make the tackle. Terrific athleticism.
Here comes Griffin Serra, 2 for 2 on field goals. Plenty of leg, and he drills it. 3 for 3 now in his young career, the freshman out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we step aside. 51-17, 4:07 to go in the third quarter on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. 51-17, 4:07 to go. One guy that felt like he was here forever is because he kind of was. A 6-year senior, Zach Fra, back in the house. He's with Ryan Gellner.
Yeah, guys, Zach Fra did play for a long time for the Bison. We were just talking about guys like Easton Stick and Darius Shepard. You played with those guys. Today is their senior day. What do you remember from senior day in particular for you?
Senior day for me was an absolute awesome day. Being able to come out on the field, talk to Coach Kleiman, the entrance and everything, having the lights be off. It was just a time to really reflect on the last, well, for me, 6 years. And just everything that's happened, how much the team has grown, and just all my experiences as a Bison.
We'll catch up with what you're doing in just a little bit, but I want to ask you about somebody like Easton Stick. Now, you played with some pretty good quarterbacks throughout your career. I'm not going to ask you where he ranks, but what are the things that he does special?
You know, he's one of the guys that can really audible, read defenses really well. He can think on the fly like crazy. And just having the intelligence to really read other players, read defenses is something that he does very well.
And then Darius Shepard has really come into his own. Guys can't cover him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he was a freshman and came in, we knew he was going to be something special. You know, him and RJ were two of the guys that really stood out. And him being able to really take in the offense, really dig down and deep into what defenses are doing, and, you know, be a smart player and learn every week is obviously something that's paid off for how well he's playing right now.
You don't get back to the Fargo Dome very much, living in the Minneapolis area now with a big boy job. You're engaged. Life is good for Zach Vraw?
Oh, it's awesome right now. Times have changed since the college days when I just woke up, played football, and went to the dining center. But having a lot of fun, getting married in February, so it's going to be a fun one.
Congratulations. It is awesome to catch up with you. You look great, and sure miss you running around, old 8-2 running around on this football field.
Yeah, get me a helmet. I'll jump down in there for the fourth quarter, but for now I'll be sitting up here watching in the stands.
They thought you were old when you played. Can you imagine now?
Yeah, I don't know if my legs can take it now.
Guys, it's a First International Bank and Trust report with Zach Vraw, who's hanging out watching a little Bison football.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. Thanks, Zach. And I think Zach still has that steel plate in his chest. He broke his collarbone twice when he's here, and they put it in, and I think the plan is to leave it in there. Cofield again getting some carries on this drive, and he's got another first down to the 48.
Late flag.
47.
But that jersey number continues to catch touchdowns, though.
82.
82. That's Ben Elfson's number. There is also a Saluki injured on the play.
Get everything sorted out here.
This is always a week where I get the question quite a bit. What's a Saluki?
Yeah.
It's an Egyptian hunting dog.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 71. The line of game was established. Therefore, the end of the run will penalize 15 yards. First down.
So it'll be first down, but they'll back it up 15, LT.
And in the game notes, as we take a look at this Nodak Insurance Company replay, there's Luke Bacon right at the end.
Player injury.
But the that Southern Illinois region, according to the game notes, it's known as Little Egypt, which is one of the reasons that Salukis became the mascot, because it is, as we mentioned, an Egyptian hunting dog.
And the first mascot's name was King Tut. Back in 1951, when they changed their mascot name from Maroons over to the Salukis. And unfortunately, he was hit by a car in 1944 and died. And they actually built him a pyramid tomb.
Oh, how'd you get so funky?
And that tomb remains in the stadium, and they touch it before each game for good luck.
Cool.
So King Tut remains at the new Saluki Stadium, getting moved over from the old McAndrews Stadium that they had back in the day in Carbondale.
Remains. Did you mean that?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's buried like a pharaoh, I guess. King Tut. A pyramid tomb. Thought that was a pretty unique tradition. Savion Clark, true freshman out of Sioux City, Iowa, getting the carry.
If I'm not mistaken, this is game number 4 now that Clark has played with the new redshirt rule. Here's your Nodak Insurance Company replay, cutting up, trying to follow Tanner Volson. And you talk about kids who are built for the position. He is a freshman. He's about 200 pounds. He's 6'1". From Sioux City. And I think he's going to be really good.
Does not look like a true freshman physically. They were really excited to get him. He had some big-time interest from Iowa, Iowa State, and certainly all the Valley schools, and here he is at NDSU. Gets positive yardage there. Thrown to the ground by Tyree Jackson.
About a half yard short of the first down.
So 3rd and 1 coming up this year. Need to get to the 42. Ryan was talking about Montana State, Montana. That's always a rivalry game. Montana was up 22-0 in that game. Montana State came back to lead 29-25 and stopped them at the 1-yard line to end the game. So a wild one between the Cats and Grizz, and every game between those two always seems to end in that kind of fashion. Cofield back into the game. Pushes ahead to the 44, and he's got enough for a first down. And I think Chris Kleiman would be very satisfied to just continue running the ball and running out the clock and walking out of here with a victory, giving his guys a couple of days off and then getting back to work, getting ready for the FCS playoffs.
I know when we talked with the coordinators, and Matt Entz talked about how important he thought it was, you know, to establish the bye, which the Bison kind of had before this game started, but to be able to mentally let his athletes have a couple of days just away from football. Sometimes it's amazing how much that will do to refresh yourself before you get into what the Bison hope is a long playoff grind.
Cofield again, this time tripped up at the line of scrimmage, still is able to gain about 3 yards. You talked about that, and the one thing Matt had talked to us about is, you know, mentally when you get fatigued, every little ailment seems to bother you worse. Sometimes the guys will just feel better, refreshed all the way around. Even for the coaches, it's been a grind for 10 straight weeks. And that will take us to the end of the third quarter. 15 minutes to go here at Fargo, and North Dakota State well in control and well on their way to moving to 11-0 on the season and finishing off a perfect run in the Missouri Valley. 51-17 your score. We're back with the fourth quarter after this. Back with your North Dakota Soybean Council fun fact. Soybeans are used in plastics, wood adhesives, clothes, cleaning products, and skin and hair care products. That fun fact brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council. Start of the fourth quarter, North Dakota State, 2nd and 7 from the 47. Let's continue to hand off the football, try to eat some clock as Cofield gains a couple. Inside SIU territory.
I would say 143 rushing yards in that third quarter for the Bison.
And Easton Stick coming out of the game. Crowd giving him a nice ovation as Holden Hotchkiss. We'll check in at quarterback, and the senior will improve to 45-3 as a starter here at North Dakota State.
How extraordinarily blessed have the Bison been at quarterback. You know, and it starts with Walker, in my mind, in this big run. So Steve Walker, and then Brock, and then Wentz, and now Stick. Oh my goodness, that's some talent there.
Hotchkiss on target to Phoenix Sproles, and that is the first career reception for the true freshman out of the Twin Cities.
I thought he had one.
Oh, he did have one. That's his second career reception. Had one for 3 yards in a game. Excuse me.
That's all right. We'll edit in something exciting on his second catch during the replay.
But he got a first down on that
there
one.
you go. His first down as a Bison. That's what you meant.
Again, Sproles has been playing all season long, and
that was established early.
That was established very early by NDSU. Hotchkiss had completed a few passes this season. Redshirt freshman out of the Florida. Cofield down to 38.
That's what I think Cofield has been the most impressive in his time and in his carries so far. Is this Nodak Insurance Company replay? Just watch him move in traffic. You know, he's kind of got jitter steps and all that, but what's he doing? He's always moving forward. He's always gaining positive yards.
Colin Connor, Luke Bacon, and Tanner Volson all coming off to a nice ovation from the crowd here at North Dakota State.
I know in our final thoughts right before we came on the air, those were the three guys that were in your final thoughts, with those three seniors on the interior offensive line have met to the team this year.
Well, and in particular, Volson and Connor. I mean, those guys have never missed a start. You think about the grind of the Missouri Valley and the grind of football on the offensive line, and they've just been Iron Man.
Yep, there's Colin Connor, 64 right there. The other thing too about number 71, you see Luke Bacon there. I mean, he's obviously the starting guard, but Luke is also on the 2 deep as a tackle. So if something would really strange have to happen, he's capable and understands the position and can go back and play that position. We've talked about this before. You're only moving about 3 feet to one side, but tackle and guard are 2 dramatically different assignments.
SIU ready for it that time. Knighton got in there first and was helped with a bunch of his teammates, and that was 4th down, or is it coming up to be 4th down? 4th down coming up here, 4th and 2. The yard marker actually said 4th down on that play down on the field.
Oops. Bison bring in, I think it was Gindorf and Anderson, so it'll be a tight end heavy set. Zach Kubis is in playing some guard now.
Chris Kleiman, I think, came in to call a timeout with the play
Charge
clock
timeout.
at 3.
North Dakota State. That's their first of the half. It'll be 30 seconds in duration.
Timeout on the field. We will step aside as well. 11:34 to go in the football
Correction.
game.
Full media timeout.
17 your score.
Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, Gate City Bank home loans are locally approved, financed, and serviced. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Cofield on 4th down. Gets enough for the first down across the 33 to the 32. That'll take a couple of more minutes off the clock here for NDSU.
Good to see Eric Bachmeyer going in and getting an opportunity here.
Bachmeyer came in as a safety, played, got hurt. Then he hurt his hand this year, moved over to wide receiver, and an opportunity here for the kindred North Dakota native to get on the field.
That's Eric coming all the way down into this position here.
Working on his master's degree, his MBA, here in his 5th season. Saw Cofield with some big runs in the 4th quarter at Missouri State, and a first down run there to the 22, and there's a Saluki down back at the 33.
It's one of the big boys in the middle. I have not seen the number of who
Officials
is
timeout
down.
on the field. Player injury. Turn into a full media timeout.
Well, as they tend to Haynes, we will go to break. 10:50 to go in Fargo.
Show your Bison pride today with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecity.bank/mycard. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC.
Emotional time, an emotional day for those 24 seniors that have won so many games here at NDSU. With this victory today, that group will improve to 31-3 in this building.
Well, the Bison will now be 71-6 since 2010 at home.
Clark stepping out and into the clear, and Sabian Clark has his first touchdown at NDSU.
Nash Jensen, among others, on the inside, getting very good blocks. Also a lead block here, I think, from Ching. There's 66 Jensen. Clark's able to break it outside and pick up a touchdown.
Yards on that scamper for the freshman out of Sioux City. And the Bison have extended the lead now 58-17, 9:57 to go in the 4th quarter.
Timeout on the field.
Bison
Media
getting it
timeout.
rolling. 600 yards of total offense now. State, 9:57 away from completing this perfect regular season. 16 plays, 75 yards in almost 10 minutes on that Bobcats scoring a recap. NDSU keeping the ball on the ground. Quarles. Oh, boy.
Well, without the clean catch, you don't get the move to the 25.
So Quarles had the ball go out of his hands, out of bounds at the 1. Another teachable moment.
Whoops.
Ruling on the field when the ball was legally touched in the field of play. Went out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Southern Illinois for all first down. Timeout. North Dakota State. Their second charge timeout of the half.
I think Chris Kleiman calling this timeout just to get some guys.
Get some seniors off the field.
Off the field. Robbie Grimsley will come off.
Timeout will be 30 seconds in duration.
Jalen Allison got out there for one play just to get out on the field.
Yeah, on his senior day, because he's nursing a knee to get ready. He'll be ready for the playoffs.
Now, Matt Ent's telling us he wanted to play in the worst way today because it's senior day, but Matt said, you know, we got to think better of it. He's got 2 more weeks to get healthy, and hopefully by the first playoff game for NDSU on December 1st, he will be close to 100% ready to go.
I know in that group shot, too, we saw...
The ball is legally touched in the field of play. Will the play clock operator please set the game clock to 9 minutes, 55 seconds. 9:55, please.
We saw a young man, number 44, Ross Efforts. And you talk about someone who's been kind of Mr. Scout team. You know, what he's done in his time, knowing that Ross isn't going to play much at all, and hasn't, but he stayed committed to the program and to the workouts and to the scout team, trying to give the offense its best look against the upcoming defenders. That's to be commended as well.
There's Mixon gaining 5 up to the 6. North Dakota State all backups in the game at this point. Look at Matt Beegler, also getting another look at another true freshman for NDSU. Tony Pierce Jr. played earlier in the season. Really like his upside, 6 feet, 231, freshman out of Lake Alfred, Florida. Sam Straub into the game as well. He started the first handful of games for SIU, but you had talked about earlier in the broadcast, just inconsistency. 9 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions.
And boy, did he have some huge monster games too. You know, a couple of 400-yard passing games in that stretch too, but in the end, he just wasn't consistent enough.
Interestingly enough, he's 8th in career passing yards at SIU, and he has 8 300-yard games. You wouldn't think a guy like that would be put on the bench, but that's just kind of where the program is at right now. Pierce jumped off sides. Flag is out. Well, that's a nice open field tackle by Michael Tutsi. Missed some time with a hamstring. He's able to come back and is really the heir apparent to Robbie Grimsley at that safety position.
Offside. Defense number 90. 5-yard penalties from the previous spot. Still first down.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. That's one thing number 25 right there. He is not afraid to do. He is not afraid at all to stick his nose in there and make some hits. We should also mention too that Dawson Weber is getting some reps. A redshirt freshman at safety, number 27.
He's played mostly special teams. Destin Talbert, number 33, is another true freshman. He had his red shirt now officially pulled. He's over the game limit for North Dakota State. Straub launching downfield, intercepted. That ball woefully underthrown, and Tutsi has the second of his career to the 25-yard line.
I believe we were in Macomb when he picked off his first pass, and here's Tutsi playing center field.
First down.
Jumping the route.
Oh, we've seen his ball skills, LT, and that's what really stands out to you initially when you watch him play.
To me?
Yes.
Oh, I like the way he's the play before. I know that he's playing free safety here or deep middle, making the interception, but I like the fact that he loves to come in and hit. He's the type of kid that against a wishbone, will be the alley guy.
Yep. His father is a college coach, had a chance to see his first pick at Western Illinois. Got there just in time for it, actually had a game and then drove all the way across the state to get there just in time to watch Michael take a few reps.
Yeah, if I remember the story right, his dad was coaching in a game, and the other coaches were trying to get him to leave before the game was over so he wouldn't miss his son playing, but he wouldn't leave until his game was done, and then he hauled to Macomb.
I think he even admitted he probably broke some speed limits along the way. Phoenix sprawls out of the backfield. Touchdown. Or Cofield. Excuse me. Boy, this kid's got nice feet, doesn't he, LT?
He really does. I like Cofield. We've talked for reasons why he gets into the end zone for the 5th time. He had a nearly 60-yard run earlier in a game today, but I just like how he's always moving forward. And see how he just kind of gives a little hip, just a little bit of a hip to that tackler from the safety coming up, gets him off his mark, slides to the right, and gets in.
You know, he's so good at keeping his shoulders square as he scoots. It's amazing how he's able to do that, not losing the momentum. Reynolds on to boot this one away. Let's go down to Ryan Geller on the sideline, who's standing by with a special guest. Ryan?
Hey guys, it is Amy Shepard, the mother of Darius Shepard, sitting here. And Amy, it has been a crazy up and down career for Darius, but let's focus just on his senior year. Number 20 came to play this year, that is for sure.
Yeah, I think he just was really focused and really wanted to make an impact for the team and just do everything he could, make every play count every time he got a catch or an opportunity. He just really was going to do something with him. I'm just so happy for him. That's all working out.
We've focused so much on the players today as far as senior day for the players. But for the parents, you look around, this group that you've been with, it's got to be a little bit of an emotional day for you as well, knowing this is it for the regular season in Darius's career.
Yeah, it's like a whole other family. All the moms are so close, and we were all talking before the game how we weren't going to wear mascara because we're all going to be crying, and we're just happy to get through it. And it's just been so much fun. It's just a whole new family.
You personally have had a whirlwind of a year. The distraction of football, watching Darius be able to go through this for his father, that alone must be pretty special.
Yeah, I'm just really happy for him. He just always wanted to do really good and just make his dad proud, and I know that he's really proud of him and just happy with how everything's turned out. Just a great way to finish.
These final moments that he'll wear the Bison uniform, we hope it's for a couple more games, but we certainly have enjoyed his career, and I assume you'll miss coming to these football games day after day, weekend after weekend.
Oh, yes. I mean, the cold outside was rough, but being in the domes is great, and just the whole experience and just the whole Bison Nation, people just have no idea what it's like up here until you actually come, and I'm just so happy that he chose and came here. It's just great. It's the best decision he ever made.
Well, it has been fun for us as well. He is a class act. You need to know that. We have really enjoyed his time here, so we appreciate you. We appreciate him as well.
Thank you.
And guys, I have to fit in Xavier as well. The little brother, little Shep. You going to be a football player?
I'm trying to decide that still, but I might become a football player, but I'm still deciding. I'm only 11, so I need to keep trying to decide.
You got some time. What's the #1 thing you like about watching your brother play?
I kind of like the plays he does and his strategies. Sometimes it depends on what he does and what the coach decides. It's actually pretty good.
I was almost sure you were going to say the touchdowns. I like the touchdowns. You like those too?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Guys, it is fun to be with this senior group of parents. The Shepards have been very special to this program, and it has been very cool to visit with some of these parents and the little brothers as well. Back upstairs, guys.
Thanks, Ryan. Really appreciate that, and thanks to Amy. Oh boy, that ball was almost fumbled. Then it was caught as he went to the ground. Was landed in the door. Ryan talked about some of the personal tragedies that family's had to go through, and certainly losing Darius's father in late July due to cancer, and it's been a real battle the last couple of years. I think for that family to have Darius here doing what he's doing, even for Darius to have the senior year he's having, certainly has to make his father proud up in heaven. And, we're been great to have him here over his career.
Redshirt freshman Mason Hofstad from Cannon Falls, Minnesota, making the tackle. On our third quarterback of the day, that's Nick Baker.
Freshman out of Rochester, Illinois. There's a look at Bo Pauly getting some reps here at middle linebacker. Excuse me, Mason Hofstad, as you mentioned. Bo Pauly's in uniform. Not sure if he's been out there yet today. Baker going to take off and run. There's Pierce coming in on a tackle. Pierce has done a nice job. You know, talk to the coaches about him, and he's a guy that really does stand out. What he's been able to do on some scout team and in practice.
Redshirt freshman Lucas Davis is injured on that play. On the back end of this, he's just as soon as he hits the turf. As we look at it again on the Nodak Insurance Company replay, he would just started pounding the turf. So
Pauly did get in on.
Happens.
Pauly did get in on that tackle. 5:40 to go.
Davis, redshirt freshman.
Boy, it's been tough on some of these SIU offensive and defensive linemen today, LT. Just not very deep at those positions. Nick Hilchel trying to coach his guys here to the end of the season. And be sure to catch the Bison Football Show with Chris Kleiman tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. on KX4, and then statewide all across North Dakota on your NBC networks. Head coach will recap this game against SIU, and then the football selection show is actually at 11:30 tomorrow morning, a 60-minute program on ESPNU, and the Bison will find out who their first round opponents will be. And again, the winner of a play-in game will essentially come here on December 1st, and those two teams will play next weekend. Hard to gauge who that may be based on what we're seeing across the college football landscape today in the FCS.
I know we've talked about the difficulty of trying to be on a committee that's going to make that selection. The easy part of being on that committee is who's number one. There's no question about that. That's been decided.
This team has rolled. Again, been tested at times, certainly at Northern Iowa. You go back to that game, LT, until the fourth quarter, that was a little dicey.
And I'll blow this one dead because the Bison jumped.
Yeah, Pierce got too good of a start that time. And certainly a South Dakota State game here in late September. But outside of that, going into the fourth quarter, the Bison have been in control a lot most of these football games.
Defense number 98. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
It's on Beegler.
Well, just to give you an indication of fourth quarters when games are being put away, the difference between the way these two teams are sitting. The Bison heading into today have outscored their opponents 93-24 in the fourth quarter. On the other side, SIU has been outscored 106-59. And that's before today.
Nixon the carry, Wagee the tackle, gain of a few.
Matt Bigler will rotate in and get a rep on the defensive line.
Kilby unable to hang on to that one, and James Kaiser came in to make sure it stayed broken up. Another true freshman that has gone over the limits.
Yeah, and it's not because of these defensive reps. James Kaiser has just been so important on special teams all season long. I mean, he and Talbert, those types of players from the true freshman respect. You know, their role on special teams has been so important. Bison jumped again.
It's a pretty well thrown ball by Baker, but it was dropped over on that far sideline. So Lenore could not come down with
Offside. Defense number 90. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Pierce has been a little jumpy.
I don't know if on the field mic you could pick that up from the referee's mic when he was talking, but that was Coach Kleiman who said you've got to have some discipline It doesn't matter that it's 65 to 17. You're out there to do your job and do it correctly, and he didn't.
Oof. Jackson Brown came to finish it off, but that thing was blown up right away by Jackson Hankey. Oh boy. Again, Hankey with the graduation of a guy like Marlette, graduation certainly of a guy like Levi Jordan is going to be expected to play some extended reps moving forward.
Well, the two guys you just mentioned and the two players who just made that particular play might be those guys in those spots next year.
And Aaron Mercadell, nursing an ACL, certainly has an opportunity. Another jump on an offsides. Baker's going to take a shot. Lenore came down with it, but out of bounds.
I don't know if all these guys are trying to channel their inner Menard and beat the snap count here, but he seems to be the only one who's a snap count whisperer.
I'm not sure if I've seen a player, LT, that's done a better job at timing a snap better than Greg Menard.
Kyle Emanuel.
He's pretty close.
Darn good at it too.
Number 98. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
But outside of those two, then I can't think of another one. I mean, through the playoff run, Menard's got an opportunity to pass some outstanding players on an all-time sacks list.
Baker able to squeeze that one into the zone.
If you're
by Burton.
Sorry, Brent. If you're unfamiliar with what we're talking about, the all-time sacks lead for the Bison is shared from 3 different players. It's Phil Hansen, Kyle Emanuel, and Jerry Dahl all have 41 career sacks. And that's the number that Menard is chasing.
Baker time again. Mixon makes the reception. And he has a first down inside the 10-yard line. LT, interestingly enough, sacks counted at North Dakota State are not the way they count them now. Like, so for people that don't understand, like Greg Menard came in with 37 career sacks. But in actuality, according to the FCS, he has 31.5. That's because at North Dakota State, when they started keeping these stats, there was no half sack.
Yeah, there wasn't.
So if you get one, you get one.
Yep.
If you get a half, it counts as a full, if that makes sense.
That kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier when I watched some coaches break down film and actually gave 3 guys a half a sack when that's physically impossible.
It'll be 30 seconds in duration.
But Menard is the FCS active leader, as you mentioned, with 31.5. There's a look at number 96. Also an excellent student. Nearly a 3.9 GPA in engineering, civil engineering. A lot of people were trying to get that guy to come play for them.
But what he's doing right now is something that, when I was talking with Coach Hedberg, he reminded the young players all week, and then especially into last week as well. The Bison have so many seniors that they actually started doing their senior speeches, if you will, at the end of practice last week. But Randy kept emphasizing to the young kids, use this opportunity to learn. Do not let it pass.
That's something Chris Kleiman has talked about during his entire tenure here, is the importance of the student leaders and how important it is for them to mentor the next group and show them how to do things.
Yeah, I guess Randy's point is use the knowledge that the seniors are telling you. They're not making it up. They know it because they lived it. You as a player want to live what those seniors are doing. Listen to them. Understand it.
Baker gonna run, put on the brakes. The Bison covered up. Kaiser really did a nice job of closing off the lane. And that'll bring up 3rd and goal.
Yeah, Matt Bigler was in on that as well.
This copyrighted broadcast is property of North Dakota State University. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, distribution without the consent of NDSU is strictly prohibited. Caught at the 2 and wrapping up and making the tackle is Bryce Bennett, senior from Coloma, Wisconsin, a walk-on corner. He's not got an opportunity to play very much, and that'll bring up 4th and goal.
Well, I mentioned it with Bryce, Ross Efforts earlier. Bryce is another one of those kids who has used his career mostly on the scout team, doing the other team's defense throughout the course of the week to try to get your offense ready for it.
Davis on the reception for SIU. So 4th and goal at the 2. Under 2 minutes to go. Baker rolling, firing, incomplete. Leonard the intended target. North Dakota State's defense stiffens. And the Bison can take a couple of knees. Celebrate a perfect regular season. And then tune in for the selection show tomorrow to find out who will be coming to Fargo on December 1st.
Yeah, regular season, and it happened in the first half, but only once on 4th down has anybody converted against the Bison all season long. That's outstanding.
You got it.
And here comes Noah Sanders. Redshirt freshman quarterback out of Apple Valley, Minnesota. Sanders and Hotchkiss, the other quarterback, are roommates. We'll get a couple of reps here to close out the game. There's Clark again, had a touchdown run, the first of his career.
And those two quarterbacks you just mentioned, the two redshirt freshmen, it was real interesting to watch them last spring. This kind of working for their position within the team, who was going to try to be that lead backup.
Sanders had some scholarship offers out there and decided to walk on at NDSU instead. One more snap out of do it here for the Bison. So Cody Mauk in the game.
Cody, number 70.
There's a kid that's put on some weight, came in at 225. My goodness.
They list him at now 270.
See Nash Jensen in there. He came in at 349 and he's down to 326.
But the 2013 juggernaut, the last team to go through the regular season undefeated, and this year's Bison team will match it.
Uh-oh. Clark running free. And Terrence Henley makes the tackle to end the game. The Bison over 650 total yards of offense in a 65-17 rout to win the Missouri Valley Football Conference, finish a perfect regular season, and take the top seed into the FCS playoffs. Once again, the road to Frisco will go through Fargo.
We've been able to witness it all year long, but the physical nature of both the offense and the defensive lines that NDSU can bring at you game in and game out, especially the offensive line, it is far from the glory position, but you go nowhere without them, and the Bison are heading into the playoffs unbeaten.
NDSU set out on a mission at the beginning of the season. A couple of goals have been accomplished, but a couple big ones still remain. Chris Kleiman is standing by with Ryan Geller.
Well, Coach, you can finally take a breath. That 10-week stretch is finally over with a pretty good exclamation point.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the guys to be able to roll through the league undefeated and have a perfect regular season. In the back of those seniors' minds, that's what they wanted. That they were dynamite today, had great focus. Obviously, it's emotion when you have 24 guys coming out here for the last time of the regular season, but so proud of how they've handled it from last January all the way up until now.
Can you just reflect for a second, an undefeated undefeated season, another Valley title. It just doesn't happen.
No, it's really hard to do, and a credit to those seniors and the coaches. Every week having those guys ready to play, and I'm excited about where this team can go. It's never going to be easy, but it's going to come through the Fargo Dome. We know that.
These kids now, I assume, will get a few days off, Thanksgiving break. That mental break is going to be huge.
Yeah, we need the mental break as much as we do the physical break, and we'll take a couple of days. We'll continue to work out with Coach Kramer and stuff, get our bodies and minds right for a big stretch run.
Happy Thanksgiving, Coach.
Same to you.
Guys, back upstairs.
And Chris Kleiman continues to roll along as a head coach.
Yeah, that's not bad. He's got a pretty good record last time I looked. You add another one on to the fact that he is now 65-6 in only 5 years as a head coach.
Already the third winningest coach in North Dakota State history. And the Bison will celebrate this one. And we'll be back here in 2 weeks from today to host a first-round playoff game. We'll step aside and be back with our post-game show. Our Nodak Insurance Company player of the game. That's after this. 65-17 the final on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. North Dakota State 11-0. Number one in the country will be the top seed in the FCS playoffs. The field announced tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Brian Schonley Timmerman back with you. And what stood out to you most, LT? There's a lot of things you could look at in this game, but the Bison just executed so well in so many areas today over a team that frankly is missing some important pieces.
I mean, the Bison could have had 600 yards passing if they wanted to today, just to try to take advantage of what SIU was unable to do on the back end. But I just go back to where's football won and lost all the time. It's up front, and the Bison clearly, I mean, it wasn't even close how much more physical and athletic that both the offense and defensive lines were today. Southern has a long way to go.
Let's take a look at your final stats brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers. And you're going to see a lot of big numbers on the right.
Yeah, those passing yards really, I mean, Easton Stick in the first half, he was tremendous. And then, of course, kind of as you might predict it, in that third quarter, the Bison had 143 rushing yards to get that rush total back up there. But Stick at halftime had 266 yards passing just alone. And then time of possession was obviously something the Bison were going to own in this particular one. 29 first downs. You have 12 more first downs. And these, again, I think a little bit, these are muted numbers. If the Bison wanted to go out, they could have had 1,000 yards today. They could have.
Ty Brooks leading the way on the ground, 9 carries, 113 yards. Adam Cofield has really been a nice bright spot as that third or fourth back for NDSU. 15 carries, 84 yards, had another touchdown today.
He has developed into a guy not only to be productive, but he's a guy the Bison can trust. They can put him out there, trust that he's going to do his job at the right time. And again, between the tackles, I really like the way he moves in limited space.
Lance Dunn, again, did not play today, tweaked a hamstring just for precautionary reasons, kept him out of the lineup, but NDSU should have its full complement of running backs for the playoffs, and that's a scary thought.
For other teams, it certainly is. But yeah, that's the beauty and the benefit of having that depth, and we talked a little bit about it when the game was going on. I mean, could have Lance Dunn played today? Yes. Did he have to play? No. Did he want to play? Yes. But the big picture is for him to be no. And the big picture, it's set up. I mean, the Bison have done exactly what at the beginning of the season, if you would have written down, here's the things in our pie in the sky goal sheet, this is what we want to accomplish, they did it. They're ready. And the playoffs will come in a couple of weeks.
And a chance to take some reps off some guys here the last couple of weeks too, with the lopsided scores over Missouri State and Southern Illinois. We'll take a break. We'll be back with some of your offensive highlights. And our Nodak Insurance Company player of the game is right around the corner. 65-17 the final from the Fargo Dome. Back at the Fargo Dome, Gate City Bank Field, 65-17 the final for North Dakota State. The Bison moving right along. A couple of lopsided scores here the last couple of weeks over SIU and Missouri State to finish the Valley unbeaten. And offensively, there's a lot of highlights to look at, LT, because NDSU pretty much had their way no matter what they tried.
Yeah, some big plays early, but the biggest play, I think, for Southern right off the bat, that was a touchdown on the opening kickoff. The young freshman takes it all the way in, and then the Bison fans are ready to explode, and they had to cool down a little bit. But then Darius Shepard and friends got moving.
Yeah, Shepard making that opening catch. Ty Brooks, 36-yard touchdown run, as we mentioned. He was the leading rusher for NDSU. Had just 9 carries, but made the most of them with 113 yards in the score.
And look at the time that Easton has. His lineman keeps him clean. Watson makes a little juggling catch, but he hauls it in to help set up Stick's rushing touchdown on the day.
SIU answered right back. Raphael Leonard, he's a nice receiver. Came in with 55 receptions, just 2 catches today, 68 yards, and that score.
That was a nice inside move, but then again, a little bit of a roll set up, and here's Jensen able to take this one in for the touchdown, so it's back-to-back weeks for that big guy to get into the end zone.
Boy, the tight end's really having a strong day, and this is another tight end making a touchdown reception. Ben Ellefson has been Mr. Touchdown, 7 TDs on the season, leads the team. Shepard, as we talked about, one of the more dangerous punt returners, has really developed into that here in his senior season.
Yeah, came in as a number 3 punt returner in the nation in the FCS. There he makes, it looked like he was going to stall out, got about another 10 yards.
Stick buying time, finding his favorite target again, waiting in the middle of the end zone. And Shepard with 6 touchdown receptions on the season as well. Bruce Anderson
gets into the end zone once again, and he's looking nice and healthy and ready for the playoffs.
So, well, the Bison block downfield. Ty Brooks slipping away for a long run.
And a physical finish. We see that from the NDSU running backs, and I guess to a certain extent we take that for granted a little bit. Those Bison running backs do finish strong in their runs.
Sabian Clark got his first touchdown run as a Bison, and then Adam Cofield capping off the scoring. Nice, nifty, shifty little run here. He's got a couple of touchdowns in the last couple of weeks. And you got to like what that young man brought to the table. We talked about him just a moment ago, but it was good to see all the backups getting him on the offensive line. Some of the receivers came in and got some extended reps. You never know if your number's going to be called in the playoffs, so maybe some valuable ones there.
Yeah, and I know that's the way it works in football. The running back gets the touchdown. He gets credit for that. But you know, those the Schonings, the Kubises, the Jensens, those types of guys take a lot of pride when they blocked for their guy to get the touchdown. So that second unit offensive line also has a lot that they can be prideful about today as well.
We will take one more break. We'll be back with a look at some of the scores around the Valley, our Nodak Insurance Company player of the game, and some of the defensive highlights as well. That's coming up next on the KVLY KFYR Bison Television Network. Fans continue to celebrate the victory here at the Fargo Dome at North Dakota State fell behind 7-0 early. Came back and rolled in a big way to the 65-17 victory defensively. I think NDSU, yeah, they gave up the big play, but outside of that, it was really tough on SIU to establish really any kind of consistency. Throwing the ball, certainly running the ball as well.
Yeah, the Bison defense stands out once again. Here's Derek Tuska, who was all over the place today. He's showing his speed from the defensive side. I think it was tough for DeSomer to try to get quarterback run going, and then a turnover off the bat. That always helps.
NDSU able to take advantage of that.
That
Have
was
always
beautiful.
been able to take advantage of those turnovers, convert them into points. Robbie Grimsley reading that like a book. And then DeSomer tripped up again by Tuska, as you mentioned, very active from his defensive end position, and so tough to run on the perimeter against NDSU, just so fast running to the football.
Yeah, that Bison team speed, that's tough to get to the edge. Here's a pass that sails a little bit high. Grimsley has his second interception of the day, takes over the team lead. He has 5 on the year now. And we talked about the speed of those defensive ends.
Yep.
You step up, you think that you've gotten past the defensive end, but no, Menard, Tuska, and others, Stanley Jones, those types, all those kids, Butler, have real good speed back to the backside of the quarterback.
You know, the one thing you try not to talk about because you want to jinx anything is injuries. The Bison have been pretty fortunate. Yes, they've had some guys miss games, but they haven't had anything catastrophic, season-ending happen to any of their big guns here throughout the regular season, which
they have to be fortunate. That doesn't happen all the time. We've seen how many injuries a team can sustain. The Bison had 12 of them in terms of season enders last year.
We even thought that one where Jalen Allison went down, we're like, ooh, that one doesn't look good, and that turns out to be an injury that he's going to have the opportunity to play through. So yes, that's the old knock on wood for the Bison in that department, but to have that depth and then be able to use it on the field and not have to use it because of an injury role, that's just a big benefit, a huge edge as this team now gets set to try to make another run.
You know, Ryan Gallner asked Chris Kleiman about it in the postgame interview, but that grind of 10 straight weeks when you have your bye so early in the season and you got to go and go and go and go and try to get through it all, they were able to do that. That's not easy.
No, and it takes leadership. The Bison do have that leadership, and it comes from those seniors. They are able to help everybody get focused, stay true to it. They've learned over the years how to prepare. They pull everyone else with them in that preparation part, because as we talked about it, Coach Entz says that mental part of the game, 10 weeks in, that is very, very difficult. Now they'll be able to take a deep breath.
We had some interesting matchups in the Valley today, and playoff implications certainly on the line. How many teams will the Missouri Valley get in the playoffs? Could be 2, could be 4. It's hard to say. Illinois State likely done at 6-5, have probably not done enough. Indiana State's the intriguing one, 7-4, but one of those victories is a D2 victory, so I'm not sure how the committee will view their 7 wins. South Dakota State takes care of business. The Jacks finish 8-2, a chance to be a top 5 seed. And then Northern Iowa leading at halftime over Missouri State. The Panthers still have some playoff aspirations and hopes if they can finish 6-5 with the strength of schedule.
That's the one thing. UNI has the #1 strength of schedule in the country. So if that plays a factor, and it should in the playoffs, you take a look at a record of a game over 500 and you go, well, they had a so-so year. But that strength of schedule should, in the committee's mind, I think play a big part in getting them, the Panthers that is, into the playoffs.
Well, Robbie Grimsley, a couple of interceptions today, 16 now in his career, and he is standing by on the field with Ryan Gellner.
Yeah, guys, Rob Grimsley, 16 career interceptions. When you started here, did you have any idea? Well, of course, you wanted to have a career like that, but that's a pretty big number.
Yeah, it's just been a blessing. To be able to play 4 years, obviously, helps, and just learning from the older guys, obviously. I mean, Trey was a huge influence on me. Getting to see how CJ conducted himself while I was here as a freshman, I mean, that was big, and just growing through those older guys and then hopefully showing those younger guys how it's done too.
Let's talk about today's game. They came in, got a big play, got on the scoreboard first. The air kind of went out of this place, but the offensive side of the football really came to play today. Got you guys some points, and then you could pin your ears back.
Yeah, we knew they had playmakers, and unfortunately that was how they started the game. But they got explosive guys, and that's what happens when you give them a little space. And we knew if we were able to contain them, the offense would get rolling a little bit, and they were able to get rolling like we thought they would. And once we feel comfortable like that, obviously we can pin our ears back and go, and that was big for us.
Have you had time, Rob, to think about an undefeated season through the Valley, how impressive that is?
Yeah, I don't know if we've had time to think about it, but that was our goal. Before we had a senior meeting before the season started, and our goal was to go undefeated, and obviously we're still accomplishing that, and we're still focused on that. But this is a huge part of it. Finishing the regular season undefeated, it gives us confidence going to the playoffs, and it's just something a lot of people can't say they did.
You'll know your seed tomorrow, likely the #1 seed, home field advantage. Winning today and setting this thing up, absolutely huge, especially for a senior.
Yeah, I mean, we want home field advantage. Obviously, playing here is such a big advantage, and we talk about it all the time. I mean, we're used to it on defense now with the noise, and we practice it all the time. And the offense just loves having that home field advantage, so it's so quiet, and they can do whatever they want to do, and this is going to be big for us going forward.
2 more picks today on Senior Day. That's a heck of a way to go out.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Rob Grimsley, guys, who had a pretty good defense today. And we are going to bring in Bruce Anderson, the Nodak Insurance player of the football game today. Number 8 got in the end zone a couple of times. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Talk about this football team. Got down early, and then all of a sudden there was an offensive explosion like we haven't seen for a while. You guys were hitting on all cylinders today.
Oh, yeah, we got a little rough start on some special teams, but we cleaned it up, and we were able to make some key adjustments. And the offense was just dynamite. We got a fast start rolling and just showed them that, hey, we're here to play.
Tell us about you, Bruce. You had a bad wheel for a little bit, feeling healthy now, looking healthy.
Oh, yeah, I feel amazing. I just had to rehab a few things, get back to where I can be healthy, and it paid off.
Going through as a senior, you started as a special teams player that was electric. You worked yourself into the backfield, and not much has changed since then. As you look back on Senior Day now, as you look back at your career, you got to be real happy with the way this thing has turned out.
You can't be too overly happy, you know. You're always willing to see some things you need to prove in, but, you know, just looking at a young man I was freshman year to, you know, growing up to be a senior now, I'm pretty proud of myself and the hard work I put into this.
Yeah, and this is fun. I chatted with your mom, and I asked her. I said, we focus on the players. We don't always focus on the parents as well. It was senior day for Mom as well. Those guys have been here. They've supported you when they lived afar, and they travel all those miles and moved up here. So many special things with all your senior parents. It is a tight family, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's a tight family. You know, the senior parents, they hold us down with emotions flying through the air. A lot of people don't realize that we're not just football players. We go through some life struggles. So shout out to the parents.
You got the playoffs in front of you. The road isn't over yet. You do get the Thanksgiving break. That comes at a great time.
Oh, yeah, it comes at a great time. We were able to look at a drawing board, see where we messed up, and just kind of relax our bodies and just make sure our minds are still engaged as well.
I would love to see where you messed up, because on the scoreboard, it certainly didn't look like that. But you'll clean some things up, and then that playoff run comes.
Oh, yes, sir, we will.
All right, Bruce Anderson, the Nodak Insurance Player of the Football Game. 2 more touchdowns today. Congrats.
Thank you.
Guys, we'll go back upstairs.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. And boy, Bruce Anderson, a guy that, how big was he even as a true freshman? Go back to him, how important he was on kickoff returns against Northern Iowa in that real hard-fought game. And his career and how he's turned into this, you know, featured guy and has had to share the spotlight with guys like Lance Dunn, but they find a way to make it work and realize the importance of having that position.
Yeah, you could see it with Bruce. You saw his explosiveness. He had a couple of touchdowns right off the bat from kickoff returns and that type of a situation. So yeah, are we surprised that he was able to do what he's done here? No. He's been that kind of a player. Fun to watch. This whole senior class has been. They came in with Coach Kleiman, and a lot of the coaches, they felt, they meaning the coaching staff, feels like this group is kind of their group because these fifth-year seniors started their first year. I remember Coach Hedberg saying, I started on a Monday, and on Tuesday, I was down in Omaha talking to Easton Stick right away just to make sure that his commitment was strong. And Easton was committed to his Bison career, and what a career it's been to this point.
Yeah, I think it worked out well for everybody.
Yes.
What Easton Stick and the rest of the senior class has done, nothing short of amazing. Be sure to tune in tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m., KX4, the Bison Football Show with Chris Kleiman. And then it will broadcast statewide on all the NBC stations as well. Get your thoughts from the coach, Jeremy Jorgensen, the host. Be sure to tune in for that. And then the FCS Playoff Selection Show coming up at 11:30 a.m. Central Time. We'll find out who is coming to Fargo. Well, the two teams will be battling it out on Thanksgiving weekend with the right to come to Fargo on December 1st. A lot of people to thank all season long. This is our 10th and final regular season broadcast of Bison football. 12 years we've brought these games to you live all across the NBC statewide network. It's the 7th year you and I have had a chance to work together in the booth. It's been a pleasure, brother. It always is.
And you talk about, I know the seniors talk about time flies. It does fly. It seems to me like we just started doing these Bison games, and it's been a dozen years for me already. Wow.
And certainly thanks to all the folks behind the scenes that make this possible. You don't see their faces. They put in just as much time and energy as anybody to make sure these broadcasts are brought to you in high definition all across the state and really all over the country as well. Producer Westus Jardins, director Wayne Robley, Kyle Dagman has followed us on the road, as has Ken Wasepka. Our home crew has been tremendous as well. And thanks to all of our sponsors, and thanks to all of you for tuning in all season long as well. For the last time, so long from the Fargo Dome. There's still playoff football to go, and we will have your Farmers Union Insurance Bison football pregame shows all through December and maybe into January if we're so inclined. For the final time from the Fargo Dome, for Lee Timmerman, Ryan Geller, Alex Egan, Bethel, I'm Brian Shaw. Thank you so much for tuning in all season long across the KVLY, KFYR Bison Television Network. We'll see you in the playoffs. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy Thanksgiving.